What's up, everybody on YouTube? What's up, everybody on Facebook? Thank you guys for being here. I want to talk about today. I'm not trying to brag with the high quality, but is Tucker Carlson the new Alex Jones? This is a CNN segment that I found fascinating. And, I'm going to speculate on why it's happening, my opinion on it, et cetera, et cetera. And the second part, I want to say why Republicans lose. I think even when Republicans win seats the last 10, 15, 20 years, it seems like there's also a losing aspect of the culture. Obviously, the lockdowns didn't help, but, just a little perspective on, I think, some helpful things on why we keep losing and what's going on with the Republican culture. Just my thoughts. Thank you guys for being here. I have the clip of Brian Stelter as well. And as people are coming in, I just want to say personally, when Trump was in office, although obviously, the media hated him and the culture hated him, he was really, 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 really good for ratings. So if you look at the CNN ratings, the MSNBC ratings, as much as they hated Trump, I think they loved him because he brought in a lot of clicks and revenue for them, because it's this whole like, oh my God, we're fighting big bad Trump. And once that kind of went away, when you have, ice cream licking Joe Biden, who's apparently the guy eats more ice cream than most people. Maybe they've decided like, that's his thing. Hey, Biden, wear aviators, lick your chocolate chip, and nobody will realize that your brain's deteriorating. Just kidding. But I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot left to be desired there. Anyway, they don't really have an angle to get a lot of clicks and stuff. And of course, Trump helped a lot of people's things, but I could still do reports and get hundreds of thousands of views on Instagram, medical tyranny, such. I'm not out of options to talk about, but for them, I don't think there's anything that appealing about their news sources. So, right off the bat, Tucker Carlson's one of the, if not the highest rated and, getting a lot of clicks or I guess views for Fox. And, no one cares about Brian Stelter because I'm not going to be rude, but let's just say there's a lot left to be desired with his platform. So, among other things, I think they want to target Tucker Carlson because, one, he gets a lot of views. They don't get a lot of views. And since they can't hate on Trump anymore, he's not around that much, they're clinging on to the next thing that's like an interesting topic for them to fight. And it's Tucker Carlson. So one, he's getting a lot of views and they don't, but also he really is, in my opinion, one of the most honest people or best news reporters on television. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't know everything he says. I'm not here to say he's like perfect. And I'm not saying that as a deflection. I'm just being honest. We don't agree on everything, but he has on honest left-wing progressives like Jimmy Dore, Aaron Mate, Tulsi Gabbard. He brings on the best of the left, even though I disagree on policy, people that are seeking truth and people that have a soul and a spirit to them. He's the only place they can go. How come they can't go on CNN or MSNBC? Because these networks are terrible. And Tucker Carlson is someone at Fox News who seems to be able to do counter reporting on Iran when the whole Republican Party is doing something with Iran or Syria. He seems like a legit guy who, if you're good enough left wing or right wing and have something to contribute, you could go on his platform. So not only is he the highest rated person on television, but he's a threat to the establishment, in my opinion, because he seems to be, at least from what I'm viewing, one of the least controllable people and one of the most honest people who does actual reporting. I'm a tough critic because, I like high quality things. And in general, I just, I'm a competitive person. Maybe you don't know that about me, but I am. Tucker's really the only one I watch on television that I think I'm impressed from beginning to end of the segment, 20 minutes. I'll watch the whole thing and I'll be like, that's the only one on television that I'm actually impressed with. There's other decent people, but I'm like, he's good. He's good at what he does. That's why they hate him. Not controllable, brings on honest progressives, will give a platform to conservatives who are unpopular on both parties, getting high ratings and actually doing real reporting on certain topics, whether it's medical tyranny, whether it's foreign wars and anti-war policy that you just won't see with the neocon, traditional Republicans. And clearly what I would consider just a totally compromised liberal sphere. The CNN and MSNBC are just garbage right now, and their ratings reflect it. So that's why I think they're doing it. Before we start with the whole report, I'm going to play the clip. Just a few things. If you ever want to get a notification for my live streams, just go to Telegram, Dream Rare Chat. I'll give a live stream. I know I said today, but I ran out of time last night. So tomorrow I have a brand new segment that's going to be like nice quality. It's the ones that go on Instagram and Facebook. So new video tomorrow, 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm almost done editing it. It takes a while, but I have a great new reporting video for you guys and deep diving segment. And if you like these hats, the God Bless Hats, dreamrare.com or godblesshats.com. If you buy 2, you get a free sticker. If you buy 3 or more, you get a 3-pack of stickers, or you could just buy a 3-pack of stickers. Or to be honest, you could do nothing because you don't have to. I'm not, unlike the big pharmacy industry, I'm not telling you, oh, if you don't buy my hat, you can't go to church. If you can't buy my hat, you can't go on a cruise. If you don't buy my hat, you have to sit in a non-hat section. That's what they're doing with the vaccines. It's like, hey, get my product. It's free. I'll give you a lottery. I mean, come here. I'm not that crazy with it. If you want it, you can. If not, I'm not going to bar you from society like they're trying to if you don't get the Pfizer or Moderna. Holly super chat said, I bet Tucker won't last much longer on air. Holly, we're going to start off the segment like this, but let's have some positive affirmations, okay? Life is good. God is great. Tucker will be on television for 40 years if he wants. Half of the reason, that's going to be the second segment, why Republicans lose. You got to stop with this negativity. Like, he's not going to be on air soon. That fear-mongering, that scaring, that energy, you're hurting Tucker. You're hurting Tucker just as much as the people who hate him. So let's give some positive energy to Tucker Carlson if you like him. Let's not manifest that he's going to get off the air. Come on, guys. This type of like fear mongering. I'm not trying to be rude to you with the super chat. Thanks for the super chat. But this is the type of energy I don't like either. It's like, support somebody you like. Show them love. Show them strength. Don't show them weakness and fear. Nobody likes it. You got to stop doing that. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. But you gotta redirect your energy and be more positive, because this type of stuff hurts us just as much as people who don't like us. You know, it's part of my second segment. Anyway. First thing I want to talk about, let's just listen to it because it's pretty funny. You know, Brian Stelter, you know, the big burly boy, strong man, that guy. Anyway, it's not Tucker Carlson. Is he the new Alex Jones? Let's just listen to the segment of what they're saying. It's, in my opinion, pretty humorous.
Carlson is a conspiracy monger, but he's far from the first. As my colleague Oliver Darcy pointed out this week, Carlson is sounding more and more like InfoWars host and notorious conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. You can hear the similarities.
The NSA has been reading our emails. It's not that I think the government spies on me. It's admitted that they do it.
It is a lie to say there are no risks. There are risks in everything, including in getting a vaccine.
Everybody's got family that got killed or got sick from a vaccine.
So FBI operatives were organizing the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, according to government documents.
It is overwhelming, the evidence that criminal elements of the federal government provocateured and staged January 6th.
All right, Oliver Darcy is back with me. I think the sound speaks for itself. Is it a stretch to say that Tucker Carlson is the new Alex Jones?
So they just took 3 clips of something Tucker said and then 3 clips of what Alex said. And then they're like, I don't know. Is he the new Alex Jones? First of all, I want to talk about number 2 and number 3. The second thing Tucker Carlson said, I mean, we'll just play the clip back because it's regardless of whether Tucker said it, Alex Jones said it, whoever, what he said is a factual statement. Let's listen to it.
It is a lie to say there are no risks. There are risks in everything, including in getting a vaccine.
He said it's a lie to say there are no risks. There are risks, including in a vaccine. So there's a risk to driving. There's a risk to flying. There's a risk to walking. There's a risk to playing sports. There's a risk to eating almonds. It depends what your allergies are. There's a risk to everything, which is what Tucker is saying, including getting vaccines, which, by the way, they know now. They are now putting a warning for that heart inflammation thing. They have immunity from side effects. They're telling you that, you know, you might get sick. You might have a fever that's not out of the people are getting tinnitus. I mean, this is not even a debatable topic. Even the top vaccine scientists, Bill Gates, Fauci, nobody's denying that there are side effects in rare cases or in some cases with vaccines. And with this vaccine, I mean, just talk to people who are getting it. Most people I know are literally getting fevers and stuff. And they know that. They're telling you that. They're making songs. So there's not any credible doctors in the world that are saying there's 0 side effects and 0 possibilities to any side effects ever. So they're trying to smear him as a conspiracy theorist for saying literally a factual statement that no one's denying. Pfizer's not denying it. Moderna's not denying it. Johnson & Johnson's not denying it. Fauci's not denying it. The CDC's not denying it. The FDA's not denying it. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to find any doctor on the planet who will deny what Tucker just said. There's a risk to everything. And that's somehow a controversial statement. This is how brainwashed they want to make people, who watch their network. And this is what they do to you when they can't. And this, I'm going to get to the Republicans too, because this is not just a liberal thing. When they're not smart enough, honest enough, accurate enough, reasonable enough, or fair enough to counter the beef of your argument, they try to assassinate your character. They try to smear who you are to the press. They can't really attack what he just said because it's a factual statement that most doctors know is true. So they're now trying to brainwash people to think, Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist. Well, that's Tucker Carlson. It's called character assassination, or it's called smearing somebody's character, because that's all they could do against what he said. It's a clearly truthful statement. The other one was talking about the NSA reading people's emails. The other one was talking about the FBI taking part in some element in the Capitol. He says that's a government document. I don't know, because I haven't done that much research on it. But if he says it's a government document and they say it's Alex Jones, who do I believe? I'm not even saying Tucker's right, because I don't speak on what I don't know. But if he says it's in government documents and your response is he's Alex Jones, that doesn't say it's not. And did you say it's not in government documents? I don't know, because it's not, honestly, it's not, I'm all over the place. It's not something I've done research, but they didn't answer anything that he said. They just put it up to a clip of what Alex said. If Hitler says that he drinks water and Donald Trump says that he drinks water and Glenn Greenwald and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris say that they drink water, does that mean that they're all Hitler and they believe in everything that he wrote in his book? It's like, at what point are you not allowed to have similarities to somebody on any topic? Like, Alex Jones speaks for 3 hours, 2 hours a day. Is there not going to be parallel to what he said? And you think Oliver Darcy never said something that Alex said? I'm sure they've overlapped by a mistake on certain topics. So playing 3 clips of things that they can't even prove are fake and putting it up to next to Alex Jones, it's just disgraceful. And they're trying to do the same thing to me on Facebook. They keep calling me a conspiracy theorist. Anybody that watches me, my live streams are fun, but really I think what the best work that I do is my reporting. My reporting has gotten over 600 million views. My reports are filled with mainstream information, FDA, CDC, Washington Post, New York Times, Reuters. This is what my reporting is based on. Their news sources. I use CNN. They cried when I posted CNN, a Johnson & Johnson article. Anomaly's a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist for posting a CNN article and you're crying because I have a bigger audience. They're not as talented as me and Tucker. No offense. They're just not. They're not as honest. They're not as funny or likable. They're annoying. They're fake. So they have to destroy, or they try to destroy us, because they can't beat us in a free market of ideas. And once again, just wait till the second segment. This isn't just liberals who do this. Believe it or not, many Republicans do it as well. It's called gatekeeping. So this is what they're doing on Tucker. Higher ratings. They don't have high ratings. Let's cling to him like we cling to Trump. Let's try to clear him out of the way while simultaneously using him for, attention and clicks and stuff. And let's put him on the level of Alex Jones, because what happened to Alex Jones? He got kicked off of Facebook. He got kicked off of Spotify. So they're just trying to put this into blacklist culture. He doesn't deserve a platform. He doesn't deserve a platform. So let's tie him together, and hopefully they take him off of these platforms too. And I have to say this, as somebody who, I don't agree with everything Alex says. I'm me. Alex is Alex. Okay. Alex is wild enough for 20 men and horse and carriages. He's a wild boy. But if you want to watch the last time I saw Alex Jones on CNN, as somebody that is just watching as a fair and reasonable person, he had a gun debate with Piers Morgan. Was he a little bit rude and a little bit wild? Of course. He destroyed Piers Morgan. So it's like, say what you want about Alex, but if I don't agree with Alex, I have to debate him. I have to debate his ideas. They got destroyed by Alex Jones. Alex went on CNN, debated Piers Morgan on guns, embarrassed Piers Morgan, made him look like a moron, countered all of his anti-gun propaganda, and he just sat there and looked like a little baby boy next to Alex Jones. So say what you want about Alex. I don't agree with everything he ever says, ever. But the last time I saw him debate someone on CNN, Alex looked like a man, and Piers Morgan looked like a little baby that couldn't handle himself in a debate. So, I hate to say it, but if you put Alex Jones and Brian Stelter in the same room, no offense, Alex is going to probably win that debate too, because Brian Stelter's not that funny, not that interesting. He squeaks like a little, Mickey Mouse, and he's just not really like a good debater or like a talented journalist or news anchor, in my opinion. So they hate so hard, but it's like, you don't see me out here hating on everybody. And if I don't like them, there's a reason I don't like them. And I explain why I don't like them. And I'm willing to debate them. These people are not willing to debate. In order to be the gatekeeper and the king of the castle, they're trying to clear out everybody that's better, smarter, and more talented than them. So, putting clips out of context and trying to act like, they're so much better. Let's listen to the rest of the segment, and then we'll move on. I just want to hear real quick what they said about it. Let's see. Let's see.
All right. Oliver Darcy is back with me. I think the sound speaks for itself. Is it a stretch to say that Tucker Carlson is the new Alex Jones?
It's not a stretch, Brian. Tucker Carlson is the new Alex.
First of all, Oliver Darcy, this dude's eyes look like this. No offense. Listen, it's all love to me. Everybody's got different types of eyes. We got all sorts of stuff. Has nothing to, it's just like, he just looks like he's got them AOC eyes. Like, they say the eyes are the window to your soul, and he's looking at me like Frankenstein. It's like, I've seen this guy's journalism. I know he's always trying to smear people on the right and get everybody deplatformed and stuff. But it's like, if you see the clip I'm seeing, I'm like, it's like, dude, like, I don't know. It's not the most trustworthy thing I've ever seen.
If you watch Tucker Carlson's program and you watch Alex Jones's program, they might differ a little bit in antics and in the way they deliver their message, but that message to viewers is consistent, and it's pretty identical. Whether it's talking about vaccine conspiracy theories, false flag conspiracy theories, deep state conspiracy theories, the messages that Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones are sending are the same.
All right, first of all, Tucker Carlson has never put out vaccine conspiracy theories. He reported accurately about the vaccine. I mean, watch his vaccine thing. He just says about the liability and all this stuff. It's like, he's not even that crazy when it comes to that topic at all. He's nothing like Alex. And one of the things that I know they hate in corporate media is anti-war policies. That's why Tucker has on Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald. These are left-wing socialist progressive type people. But we all came together and we realized that the media narrative around Syria wasn't correct. So you look at someone like Meghan McCain, bless her soul, she's always smearing Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, you're Assad the butcher, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a fan of Assad. I'm not a big Syria fanatic or anything, but it's like, this is what they do. It's like, yeah, you can be a Republican if you support the war efforts. You can be a Democrat on television if you support the war efforts. Tucker Carlson is one of those guys where he's suspicious of the war in Syria. He's suspicious of the war on Iran that the Trump administration was waging. Trump supporters hated when he said that. I appreciated it because it's like, listen, we should be able to question what's going on here, regardless of who you are. So they're so fake. They just want anybody that is uncontrollable, has on the left and the right, and actually questions things. They're acting like it's this big conspiracy. Give me a break. Tucker Carlson, they're just trying to kick him out of the way and gain some views off of his reporting because people actually watch him. What a joke these people are. That's my opinion. Let me know yours. Second thing I want to talk about today is why I think Republicans lose. And there's a few things that I see Republicans doing culturally, blacklist culture-wise, and just in general getting upset when we talk about certain things. And I hope this brings some clarity to what maybe we can do better, at least have a debate about, because I see there's so many little tricks there. First thing I want to talk about, this guy follows me on Twitter. I like him. It's all love for me. You know me, I'm a thoughtful guy. It's all love, no disrespect personally. We just have a different ideas, and I'd be willing to debate him. His name is Dr. Daryl Scott. He's a huge Trump supporter. He's a pastor. He's a CEO of National Diversity Coalition for Trump. He founded it with Michael Cohen, of course. Just kidding. But anyway, he's a member of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. He was one of Trump's main, it seemed like advisors, but main go-to business guys and pastors who he did a lot of these, black aimed things with Trump. Like I saw him on television every time that Trump was signing an executive order, this or that. He was one of Trump's closest, it looked like, advisors or, business partners. I don't know what you would call that. I don't want to misspeak, but, he was really in there with Trump's black agenda to really show Black America that, I'm not racist. I'm actually, I'm giving you HBCU money. I'm doing the First Step Act. Trump did a lot for the Black American community. But anyway, Dr. Daryl Scott's been tweeting a lot about the Black National Anthem and Juneteenth. I'm just going to read one of his tweets. He said, first, there was a problem with Juneteenth. Now there's a problem with Vanessa Williams singing Lift Every Voice on Independence Day because it's nicknamed the Black National Anthem. Seems like the right is the only side that consistently has a problem with the black stuff. So he's pretty much trying to jab and say that right-wingers are racist, like, oh, we're just singing the Black National Anthem. It seems like the right is the only side that has a problem with black stuff. And the reason people are pushing back against the Black National Anthem has nothing to do with right-wingers not liking black stuff. But I think it's pretty clear, in my opinion. I have no problem with black culture, black this, black that. I don't care what people do. If people want to live in their own communities, do their own stuff, doesn't really bother me. But our nation is called the United States of America. It's very simple. We are the United States of America. We're a nation, just like Sweden has a national anthem. Russia has a national. Everyone has a national anthem, and that anthem is for all the people there. Doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, your skin color. If you're an American citizen, then there's only one national anthem. It's a nation. That's what we are. And with all of our races, America's the most diverse country, one of the most ones in the world. We're not like Russia. We're not like Sweden. We're not like China. We don't have huge demographics of one population like they do. So when it comes to a group of multicultural, all different ethnicities and religions and races, the only thing that unites us as a country is the flag and the nation. If we can't unite under the guise of one nation, one group of people, we're never going to be united. And maybe that's the case. So the point I'm trying to make, excuse me, I'm just trying to stretch a little bit, has nothing to do with race. If you want to unite, we have to have one national anthem. If you want a black national anthem, if that's the thing that people want, a black national anthem, you have to have a separate nation. And I think that's the angle that the liberals are trying to do, is split people up, divide them by race, and make it so we don't have a nation. They don't like the flag. They don't like the, sorry, I kind of hurt myself a little bit. Hopefully I'm fine. If anything drastic happens on camera, you know what it is, but I hope it's just my muscle, but I feel like I pulled a muscle. Anyway, I think that's the angle. So if the Black National Anthem is the goal, I think you need a black nation. So I don't know if that's what he wants to do. Probably not. How could you have two national anthems for one nation and one specific based on race? And I feel like people like Dr. Darrell, no disrespect, but these type of, race activists or whatever he wants to be at this time, it's like, would he be okay with a white national anthem, a Chinese national anthem in America, a Latino national? It's like at a certain point, it's like, just, we got to stop this nonsense. If we want to have something that unites us, he would probably be, I don't want to speak for him, but the first person to say if white people gathered and tried to do stuff, he would say that's white supremacy, that's racist. Meanwhile, he's making a living and a name, not a full living, doing black activism specifically for his ethnicity in America, trying to have his own national anthem when there isn't his own nation here. And then, turn around and suggest that it's only the right wing that has a problem with black stuff. It's like, it's so simple. You can't have a national anthem for not having a nation. So you gotta get your own nation or establish your own nation in America if you want the own national anthem. And the Juneteenth stuff, he says they have a problem with Juneteenth. My whole life, we never really learned about it that much. I mean, it's great. It's a great holiday, but the reason it's a national holiday now, I'm sorry to burst his bubble, but it's not because they want to remember the greatness of freeing people. It's because they want to keep people locked down mentally. So they're bringing up that past to tell them that happened, but there's still a long way to go, and funnel them towards this Black Lives Matter left-wing type activism. All this stuff in the press, whether it be Juneteenth making a comeback or the Black National Anthem being more prevalent now than ever, it absolutely is a liberal diversion to, once again, I think, just mislead people and divide them further. So that's really it. I think one way that Republicans lose is you have all these black conservatives now arguing over this stuff. I like it. I don't like it. Getting mad at Candace Owens for saying that it's a scam or a lie. But I think he's wrong. I think the fact that he's trying to act like it's some sort of racial offense to not agree with the Black National Anthem. One nation. That's the only thing that unites us. If not, we have to divide and figure it out. I'm not a segregationist, but it's like, if people are so upset where they don't like the country, they don't like the flag, they don't like the national anthem, and they cry when somebody counters the fact that now they're bringing up a national anthem for a non-nation and just a racial group of people, we're never going to get along. We're never going to get anything done, and it's a total waste of time and energy. It does feed into the liberal narrative. It does feed into the divisiveness. So it's like, you want a national anthem, I think it's time to get a nation, or else who am I to make my own national anthem for my ethnicity? It's like, that's cool, I guess, but How does he not see that that's divisive? I don't know. But that's kind of, something that a lot of Black Republicans get mad at Candace Owens over, where I think honestly she's right on that topic, and they're falling into the trap of things that are there to destroy the country and our side of politics. Second thing I want to talk about, there's something that I said, and I just want to read it real quick. I tweeted this out and people got really upset. I don't care, but this is a perfect example of what I've been talking about for a while. I said last year under Trump, the country went further socialist than during 8 years of Obama. That's just what happened. I said, if you're a Trump supporter who gets mad at that truth, you're not helping anyone. It's people like you that are the reason Republicans lose even when they win. If you read, I'm going to read the tweet again. If you hear what I'm saying, I didn't blame Trump. I didn't say it was his fault. I didn't say he's the one who did it. I literally just stated a fact. I mean, if you want to compare anything Obama did to the lockdowns were more socialist. They shut down businesses. They shut down beaches. They shut down churches. I did not say that it was Trump's fault. I just said literally this. I said last year under Trump, the country went further socialist than during 8 years of Obama. That's just what happened. I didn't say it's his fault, but he was the president, and that's what happened. That's all I'm trying to say. And this is why I think Republicans lose even when they win. I'm just stating that fact. 4 years of Trump, the last year went further socialist. Are we ever going to win, or are we just going to lose in slow motion? People get so upset at that. So the left is really brilliant, I think, of moving the Overton window further left. The right winger that's on stage at a college campus now is further left than Obama. And you could have your opinion on it, but when Obama ran for office, I don't think he was supporting the LGBT community and he was pro-gay marriage. I think that came towards the end of his career. Same with Hillary Clinton, same with all of it. This wasn't a Democratic thing. Now, if you go to a TPUSA event, they have on, they're talking about gay marriage, and they're pro-LGBT. And I'm not, you could think what you want. I'm not saying you have to agree or disagree. That's right or wrong. You can decide. Only God can judge. I'm just saying that the modern right-wing conservative Trump patriots going around are further left socially than the Democrats of 15 years ago. That's just what's happening. You don't have to get mad at it. That's just true. And when it comes to economics, the economics of Trump in 2020 signing the CARES Act and, bragging about trillions of dollars of relief money, that's more socialist than Obama. And I'm just identifying it. I know I definitely talk a little bit about Trump sometimes, but I'm just identifying this is what happened. Are we going to ever stop it, or are we just going to do it? And people get so mad at me. So the left moves the Overton window so far left that the modern right is just a Democrat from 10 years ago. And anytime somebody comes along like myself or anybody to stand firm in what conservatives literally believed 3 years ago and just say, I don't agree with it. People like Bryson Gray. Bryson Gray has, is very anti-LGBT. And a lot of people get really upset. And I understand why, but I'm also thinking to myself, like, you're trying to outcast him from the movement when this was literally the mainstream belief 5 or 10 years ago. At least I think he deserves a seat at the table to talk about it, obviously. And I think he makes a lot of really good points that people are not trying to listen to. But in general, it's like they're ready to outcast this guy for having the belief that they had 10 years ago. You have somebody like Paul Gosar. Paul Gosar, he follows me on Twitter, so he's a smart guy. No, I'm just kidding. But he seems to me like a very authentic congressman, one of the few, Paul Gosar out of Arizona. And he's doing some sort of fundraiser with Nicholas J. Fuentes, who has been banned from right-wing events. They ban him from right-wing events. They banned him on certain social media. They have deemed this guy, I believe they're trying to dehumanize him in the same way the media did Trump. They're trying to push this narrative like this kid can't even talk. He's not even human. Don't talk to him. Don't do this. So they're trying to blacklist Paul Gosar for talking or having an event with Nick Fuentes. And I'm thinking to myself, the left moves the Overton window left, and there's not that many people on the right who are willing to try to move the Overton window further right. And when they do, it's like the right-wing gatekeepers who, in my opinion, unfortunately, don't conserve anything. They're not fiscally conservative. They're not economically conservative. They couldn't stop socialism during the lockdowns, and they're not conservative really at all. They not only don't conserve anything, they not only can't hold their ground, they not only aren't winning the culture war, but anytime someone comes along to challenge them from the right, they turn and try to throw them off course and blacklist them. And the same way I disagree with blacklisting of Alex or Tucker Carlson that CNN's doing, it's the same dynamic on the right wing, in my opinion. is it's always these weaselly, for lack of a better word, conservatives who aren't that smart, who aren't that honest, who aren't that good at debating, who aren't that intelligent, who aren't that likable, who they play this game like, let's get rid of him. And I'm going to be honest, when it comes to Nick, I've said this on my platform, some of his views might be extreme to people. Some people might call him a racist. I know he's been called an anti-Semite. You could call him any name you want. You could stick by it, but I'm just being honest with my platform. I've watched him debate. And I think the reason these people are afraid of him is not because he's so hateful. I think they're afraid because they know that they couldn't beat him in a debate. I'm just like Alex Jones. I don't agree with everything Alex says, but who do you think would win a debate, Alex Jones or Brian Stelter? I'm sorry, Brian Stelter is no, he's no Albert Einstein, to put it lightly. So I don't think he'd win. And that's the same with Nick and these other. I've watched him debate people, and he does very well. So I think, on the right, on one hand, we fall for all these traps. You got black conservatives who are close to Trump crying about people pushing back against the Juneteenth federal holiday or pushing back against the Black national anthem. And it's like, how do you not understand that they're bringing this back not because they care about black people or the anthem or lift every voice? They're doing it because they're trying to divide us. And the only thing that unites us is the flag, is the nation. If we can't unite as American citizens and have one national anthem and be clear about it, what can we do together? Nothing. It is divisive. And when it comes to blacklist culture, how are we going to fight for free speech and fight the left when the right wingers are doing the same exact thing to Paul Gosar and other people? And I really do believe that, this is lost on the right. I've said the Trump administration, people don't want to hear this. He infringed on the First Amendment with his anti-Semitism executive order. I had somebody who used to come up to me. I'm not going to name names, but when I used to go to Los Angeles, this guy, I think his name, I'll just say the name, I don't care. Hardcore conservative patriot or something. He's out in Los Angeles. When I used to be in Los Angeles, he used to come up to me at events and take pictures with me and say, "Oh my God, Anomaly, I'm so happy." And then he'd post it on Facebook and he'd got a bunch of likes because I'm popular on Facebook. He would love me. He was like, "Oh man," he would take pictures with me and put them on his Facebook. Now he's calling me literally a Nazi. This guy is a Hispanic dude, part Sephardic Jew, according to his Instagram thing. And he's calling me a Nazi. Why? Because I support the First Amendment. I've never said anything nasty or mean or hateful, I've never said anything. I just say when Trump passes an anti-Semitism executive order, I don't disagree with it because I hate Jewish people. I disagree with it because it infringes on the First Amendment. It's like saying I hate black people if the left wing passes an anti-black legislation where you have no free speech. I don't want to end up like Canada. I don't want to end up like the UK. When you have hate speech passed into law, whether it's for that group or that group, it's anti-constitutional. This guy went from posting pictures of me on Instagram and Facebook for popularity to literally calling me a literal Nazi because I support the First Amendment. How in the world are we going to win the culture war and protect our Constitution if this is the type of stuff going on the right? And I don't care. Everybody has an opinion, but when Trump infringes on the First Amendment, when they turn socialist during his thing, when he turns into a vaccine salesman and starts printing trillions of dollars, and I talk about it, people get more mad at me for talking about it than they do that it happened. So how are we going to conserve anything when we're blacklisting people on our own side, when we're calling each other Nazis, and when a constitutional capitalist free market stance, it's not a free market. If they shut down a gym, it's not a free market. If they shut down a restaurant and a church and a beach, we don't live in a capitalist society. We are now socialist/communist. That's all I'm saying. I don't care who the president is. I don't care if Joe Biden's eating Choco Chip for 10 years until he can't stand up anymore. I don't care if Donald Trump's saying build a wall, we'll never be a socialist nation as we turn into a socialist nation. I'm not blaming, but if I can't even talk about that and that offends people because they love Trump so much, why do you think Republicans lose? They lose because they like losing. I don't know what else to tell you. It's like, yeah, we're losing the First Amendment. Yeah, we're becoming socialist. Yeah, but it's like lose. It's like I'm trying to stop losing. That's all I'm trying to do. And another psyop that I'm going to do a whole video on this week that's destroying the Republican Party is the QAnon trust the plan stuff. Because if you follow the military, they are about to make the vaccine mandatory according to military journals and reports. So one thing that's going to do above just, really be unfair to a lot of people, it's going to make a lot of right wingers probably leave the military because politically it's mostly the right wing who doesn't want to get the vaccine. and the people in the military that are probably going to leave because of that are right wing. So they're actually weeding out the military, and they are pretty much, I believe, being biased towards, oh, you can't read that book, but you can read that book. They're flipping the political affiliation of the military, in my First Amendment perspective. As that's happening, you have these pathological liar Q accounts that are #1 on BitChute. They're huge on Instagram, telling everybody, trust the plan. The military's in control. Trump's the shadow president. If you follow me, I'll make all your wishes and dreams come true. Remember Willy Wonka? I have the golden ticket. Any day now, Trump's going to be the president again. Keep your eyes on the audit. Eyes, letter I, igloo, think Antarctica, space base, Space Force. Trump's winning the world with Space Force. And everyone's like, that makes sense to me. It's like, no, it doesn't. The military is not in control. The military is being turned more democratic. And the only reason nobody cares about it is because these pathological liars are getting millions of views, psyoping conservatives into the opposite of what's going on. It's a brainwashing tactic to make you completely useless as your country's turning more Marxist. So it's like between all these three things, of course, Republicans are going to lose. They love losing. They love blacklisting. They cry when you point out the fact that they didn't support the First Amendment. They cry when you point out the socialism. They cry when you point out Operation Warp Speed. They're so desperate to disagree with what Trump did that they won't even admit that he funded Pfizer and Moderna. They're acting like, oh, he's got therapeutics. No, when he says vaccine, read between the lines. Vaccine, seen. What's seen is what's heard. Herd immunity. Trump's trying to protect us from herd immunity. Immune system of a down. What was System of a Down song? Toxicity. Toxic waste. Flint, Michigan. Guinea pig. We're just experimentations, bro. Read between the lines, dude. I've been reading Q posts for 15 years now. I've been neglected my family. I've gained 50 pounds. I mean, I've just been eating chocolate and just, reading the deep state files. It's like, this is what these people are doing. People are like, no, dude, it makes sense. I mean, it's like, no, you just like Trump so much, you don't want to admit he funded Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson with Operation Warp Speed. So instead of facing that reality like a human being, a man, or a strong person, you just make up fantasies of what you wish it was. It's like when I was 7 years old, they're like, come to class. And I'm like, no, I'm a Power Ranger. I don't have to go to class. Like I was just coping because I was a bad kid. I thought I was the Red Ranger. Everyone said, I'm the Red Ranger. I said, I'm the Red Ranger. I was an alpha boy. Okay. I was a tough boy. Early on, I was like, listen, I'm Tommy. No, I'm Tommy. I'm like, you think you're Tommy? You're the Blue Ranger. You're like the little nerdy kid. You're the Pink Ranger. You're a girl. I'm the Red Ranger. But in general, it's like the Red Ranger of like adults. It's like, they can't cope that Trump actually funded vaccine industries. And they're like, no, when he says vaccine, scene music, sick, heel, foot. Who's the Achilles heel? Bill Barr, Roseanne Barr, Barbell, Durham report. They're like, dude, the Durham report. It's like, bro, he's not even, where is Durham? Trump doesn't even know who he is. They told people for 3 years, Durham's coming, guys. Any day now, Durham's coming. Bro, he doesn't even have a video. Find me a video of Durham. You'll have a better chance of finding a, liability that these vaccine companies have, which they don't. But anyway, it's like, dude, no trust. We're fighting the government by trusting the government. Trust the plan. Dude, we're fighting the deep state. Trust Bill Barr. Trust Jeff Sessions. Trust Donald Trump. Trust Pompeo. The only way we could fight the government is if we trust the government. The only way the military's in control. Oh, military. No, it's not. So one of the 5 reasons Republicans lose is because they're like addicted to this fake psyop. Like, the military's being ousted and weeded out by forced vaccination and biased, political rules, as they're telling you the military's secretly in control. Yeah. And I was in season 5 of Survivor. Do you remember me? I was the guy who won. You don't remember season 5 of Survivor? I was there. I was swimming. I won every race. The tribe has spoken. I won. I got $1 million. You don't remember that? Do you know why? Because it's not real. It never happened. Just like these Q people. They're all phonies. But, that's what I think. Between falling for these liberal psyop fake anthems that are, I guess, a racial national anthem, if we don't unite as a nation, there is no nation. That's the point. It's like, if there's no border wall, you have no country. Trump was right about that. It's not just about border security, which it is, but if there is no nation, if there is no border, there is no country. If there are no rules, lawmakers make laws, and then they say that the laws don't exist for illegal immigrants. The laws don't matter anymore. This all doesn't work unless we work. And that's another thing with all this she, her. I was talking to my aunt today, and she asked me, like, in a respectful way, she was like, what's with all the hey, her, him? She wasn't being mean. She just didn't know. She's like reading people's, she's reading people's resumes, and it's like she, her, him. And she's just like, what is that? I literally don't know. And I try to explain. She's like, it doesn't even grammatically make sense to be a there or a they. She's like, that doesn't even make sense. I was like, that's exactly why they're doing it. It's not just being kind. It's not just being respectful. If words don't matter anymore, gender doesn't matter, there are no adjectives, they're perverting the entire language. We can't speak. When you learn Spanish, he eats apples, she does this, he does that. These are the first things you learn because these are the building blocks of the Spanish language. If you don't know the difference between he and her and him and them and there and they, ustedes, this is like the first thing you learn when you try to learn a language. If all of that, the building blocks of a language are just splattered and none of them matter anymore, they're destroying the language. They're destroying the language. They're destroying the anthem. They're destroying the border. There is no nation. That's the point. In communism, there is no nation. They hate nationalism because if there is no nationalism, people don't love their country, love their people, love their flag. And when they don't love anything, they take it for granted. And when they take it for granted, somebody else is going to swoop in and take power and control. That is communism. It's total control of media, transportation. They specifically say in the Communist Manifesto, they hate the family. They don't like the nationalists. Why? Because that's the biggest threat. If someone has a good family, they're not going to be bombarded with the propaganda. But if they're at, a children's center because their parents abandoned them, they're a lot easier to influence. They're a lot easier to take advantage of. That's why this is a little off topic, but a lot of child abusers, a lot of times they work at children's facilities. I mean, a lot of great people work at children's facilities, but one thing that you find with a lot of rapists and child molesters and abusers is, sometimes they run organizations. Sometimes they work at these places. Why? Because these kids are unaccountable or they're hard, it's easier to take advantage of them because they don't have the guardians around, which is sick, which is so messed up. But I'm just saying, it's like, abolish the family, Karl Marx says. Oh, yeah. Who else would want to abolish somebody's family? A sicko that wants to take advantage of you. I'm not saying he was a pedophile. I'm just saying in general, it's like, yeah, abolish the family, abolish private property, no family, no private property, no religion, no nationalism. Yeah, now just give me control of the media and transportation and education and working and transportation and banking. Yeah, ooh, give me all the banks. Ooh, yeah, give me all the banks. Ooh, I'm going to take all the money. Ooh, yeah, for you. I'm taking all the money for you. Karl Marx was a freaking fraud. It's so obvious reading the book, but let's not get too off topic. That's just a few things why I think Republicans lose. And hopefully you enjoyed the whole segment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. New report tomorrow morning. It's going to be one of my best videos in a while. It's almost fully edited. I had it all edited. Half of it got deleted last night. I had to restart a little bit, but it's all good. That's what's going on. And that's what it is. If you like these hats, God bless hats. Like I said, if you buy 2 or more hats, shirt, whatever, a shirt, a hat, you get a free sticker. A shirt, a hat, a tank top, you get 3 free stickers. We're out here giving out free stickers, folks. You don't want to miss this bombshell event. I don't know. I'm not a good salesman. You get it. GodBlessHats.com. All right. Someone said at least Trump told us it was the China virus. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's just a diversion, though. It's like, let's dive into that. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay. He's just putting on, in my opinion, it's like a show. China virus. China. What does that do? Oh, yeah, we're fighting China. How are we fighting China? We still get Chinese goods. We still import so many Chinese products. They have us by the balls. It doesn't matter that Trump said China virus. He said China virus, and then he locked down, and then he put Fauci on television, and then he funded vaccines. You know that China, at least the last time I checked, they're not even giving their people mRNA vaccines. They're giving them more traditional vaccines. Trump doesn't care. Like, it's like he says China virus and conservatives think they're fighting China. It's like, you're not doing anything. And no, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, how is that a good thing? Well, he said China virus. So That's like, okay. He gets onto television. China virus. Everyone's like, yeah, that means nothing. That doesn't solve anything. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, it's such a, he's like a perfect show, and it's not doing anything, but whatever. Let's calm down. Let's not get too controversial. Someone says, who controls the banks? Hey, let's calm down, Bianca. Okay, let's slow down. Okay, we don't want to talk about who controls the banks. Okay, I mean, who controls the banks? I don't know. Probably it could be anybody. It could be I don't know. I'm just playing. I think I don't know. Let's not talk about one family in particular, because that would be a hate speech offense. You know, there's this one banking family that at one time had a lot of power, and I guess they just lost it all. So let's not go there, okay? Someone said Nigerians control the banks. Yeah. Let's go with that. I don't know what that. I'm going to read this real quick. It's a long comment. Natasha said, God bless you. Anomaly, as a military family, we have watched 4 to 6 years as Christian conservatives have been pushed out of the military by plots and schemes that were so wicked and unbelievable that they could make movies about them. Our military may be controlling some things, but it will be how to blah, blah, blah. Someone said, these head in the queue sand Republicans need to wake up. Trump did good for 3 years, and then something flipped on May, and it's been painfully obvious. Thank you so much. It's so clear to me that the Q militaries and control people, either they're egotistical charlatans who just got an ego because they got into town and they're lying. Most of them are probably good people, but it's like ego, pathological lying. I don't know. Maybe they need to see a psychologist, but they're controlled opposition, whether they know it or not. Telling conservatives that the military is in control, as if you talk to anybody in the military, they are definitely being biased towards right-wing conservative Christians, and they're being everything they do is liberal. Let's go on an LGBT hike. Let's do this. You can't read Ayn Rand, blah, blah, blah. You have to get the vaccine. Oh, yeah, they're really in control, guys, any day now. Just sit there at your couch and wait. They've fooled so many people. It's been one of the most successful psyops in modern history, whether it meant to be or not. The Q stuff has been the perfect controlled ops out. They've taken, people think this stuff's new. I'm just going to be honest. Okay, they said, but we're talking about the pedophiles. Guys, the whole theory that the Q thing started from the Julian Assange WikiLeaks, which came a year before. So they didn't invent that theory. And there's been people like David Icke and Alex Jones who've been talking about this for decades. But anyway, okay, so you're talking about pedophiles. Great. So what are you doing about it? You're telling people the military's in control? How is that stopping anything when everybody thinks it's happening behind closed doors? I mean, oh yeah, they're going to raid their houses any day. It's all nonsense. And one thing that I was going to say too, they took a conspiracy theory that has been around for decades and they flipped it and made the bad part the good part and the good part the bad part. If you read Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper is one of the original conspiracy theorists, and Bill Cooper was talking about FEMA and emergency orders. And in the book, he's writing about how the government was trying to pass certain legislation to make it so when there's a state of emergency, FEMA and certain other industries get a lot of power. This is where these narratives and these conspiracy theories about FEMA camps and Walmart, these have been around for a decade, since I was 18 years old, talking about how martial law would be really, really bad, how an emergency order and FEMA type stuff would be really, really bad. And when they did that, that would be a bad sign for the citizens. I'm just reporting these conspiracy theories have been around for a decade. It wasn't until QAnon came around and took those same conspiracy theories where they said martial law's bad, FEMA camps bad, and people like Simon Parks with his crooked smile and his weirdo website talking about aliens, saying, oh, the FEMA camps are for the good guys. Martial law is a good thing. So they took an ancient conspiracy theory saying FEMA camps bad, martial law bad, and said, martial law good, patriots. When the government starts sending the military out, that's good, patriots. Trust the plan. The military's in control. It's a psyop, guys. It's the biggest fraud in modern conservative history. They've taken every conspiracy theory that actually had research and put into it saying, yeah, martial law is not good. FEMA camps? Like, that doesn't sound good. Oh, no, it's good, guys, because I have a crooked smile and a website that says my family worked for the intelligence agencies and I was birthed by aliens, or someone was birthed by aliens. Oh, yeah, that's a real trustworthy guy. Oh, no, the FEMA camps are good, guys. Just trust my plan. The military's in control. Joe Biden is going to get arrested tomorrow. And then there's these other pathological liars that are like, dude, I just got intel. I just got secret intel. I just got intel that the military's in control. Patriots, don't worry. I know your First Amendment's getting taken away. I know trillions of dollars have been printed. I know Trump turned into a vaccine salesman. I know the election didn't go how I told you. I know the 6th event ended up being a total setup and everybody's going to jail. I know I lied about the 20th. I know I lied about March. But Patriots, I just got secret intel from Simon Parks over in England, and he says the military's in control and the FEMA camps are for the good guys. Don't worry. And everyone's like, dude, that makes total sense. Trust the plan, man. I mean, if you're not trusting the plan, you must work for Mossad. I mean, who else wouldn't trust the plan, man? It's like, how did people not realize yet? It's so obvious. It's a way for you to think everything that's happening that you normally wouldn't agree with is secretly a good thing. It's like, hey, guys, if your power goes out, it's a day of darkness. Ooh, there's 15 days of darkness, and the darkness is going to turn to light, and the light's going to turn to dark. And when your blackout happens, think whiteout, blackouts, white hats, blackouts. The blackouts are for the white hats. The white hats are running the military. It's like, shut up, you losers. These people are so stupid. I don't get how people still follow them. They're like, no, I mean, they've lied to me 15 times, but the 17th time, 17 equals Q, that's when they're going to tell the truth. This info's necessary. I watch pathological liars because I've lied to myself, and I lie to myself, so I look for lies in other people. And, you know, they need to lie to me because the deep state's watching their channel, and if the deep state sees what they're saying, the whole thing's going to be exposed. So they have to lie in order to tell the truth. So it's like, why don't you just take a dart and throw it at a dartboard and pick your answer yourself? If they lie 17 times and tell the truth one time, they have to lie. I mean, Chrissy Teigen's really breathing up their neck. If they don't keep lying to me, she's going to really figure out. And I mean, Tom Hanks is really close to, you know, getting to Q. Tom Hanks has been up, so he has to lie to me and lie to Tom Hanks because Tom Hanks is going to be fooled. And I know the truth. I mean, how it's like, didn't these morons ever think if they're lying to these people, how do you know if they're lying to you? They don't know. How are you able to decipher when he's lying and when he's not? But Ellen DeGeneres just can't figure it out. All the people she has working for her. Like, only you know the lies and the truth, but Ellen's just blown away. Like, it's like these people are like, dude, my IQ's got to be at least like 10 million. It's like, you know, Ellen, she's at 80 or 90, but I'm in a different league than Ellen. So it's like, I know the lies and the truth, but if you know, she knows. If you don't know, she doesn't know. Like, you're not, we're not that smart out here, folks. Paul said if Obama had done what Trump had done in 2020, Americans would have been resisting it tooth and nail every step of the way. I agree. Hydro said, bro, I tried to talk to you on Twitter, but you blocked me like Lightfoot. It's okay to talk about Jews. Trump didn't stop you. I don't even know what you're talking about, Hydro. I doubt you were blocked for any other reason besides you're annoying. And I recognize you from the chat because you're one of the most annoying people that comes here. No offense, but I don't think I blocked you to censor you or because I think I can't talk about certain people. It's probably just you were being weird or annoying or something. So I don't remember, but thank you for the super chat. I don't know. I don't care enough, but thank you for that. He said it's okay. Thank you. I promise you I wasn't censoring you. I promise you I'm not afraid to talk about something. I think you were just being annoying, but it's all good. Thanks for the money. Someone said, Taylor said on Facebook, or Talino said, people have no discernment. It's true. I mean, this stuff is getting pretty bad. They're like, God, patriots, think about it. And like, literally it's like taking tarot cards, mixing tarot cards with conspiracy theory, with like people who want to act like they have secret wizard powers. Someone said, isn't Q just John Sherwood Delancey Jr.? I have no idea who Q is, but like, it's like people are like, they're getting their like egos filled. They got this big audience now and they just sit there and they strategically, they're like, think about it. Water. Okay. I've watched this thing. People are like, ocean, think ocean. What's in the ocean? Jellyfish. What do jellyfish do? Sting. Who else sting? Stingray. Sting. Think stingray. Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin killed by a stingray. John McAfee killed in jail. Sting was the lead singer. Follow me. I know I'm going to blow your mind with this Q stuff. You know, Sting was the lead singer of a band. The band was called Police. Who wants to defund the police? The left, the radical left. Defunding the police means defunding Sting. If you defund Sting, think jellyfish. They're trying to take patriots out of the white hat operation. Who else sells white hats? Anomaly. Anomaly sells white hats. What's he doing? Is he working for the CCP or Mossad? Who are we going to accuse him of working now? I mean, if he doesn't trust the plan, he's got to be working for somebody, because there's no way an American patriot can be opposed to communism and socialism and martial law lockdowns, because martial law is good. I mean, of course, my whole life I thought martial law was bad, but when Trump does martial law, it's good because the white hats are in control. Think control, controller. What do you think of? Video game, rapper, 50 cent game, 50 cents, half a dollar. What? Inflation. Guys, inflation's good now. Nasara Gassara. You think I'm kidding? These people are like, Anomaly, what about Nasara and Gassara? Inflation's good. They're taking down the central banks. I mean, the only way they could take down the central banks is to lock the cut. They're not saving you with Nasara and Gassara. They're like, Anomaly, think about it. Inflation is good. If you can't afford bread, you just go vegan. You know, you could eat Bill Gates' hamburgers. It's like, I want to eat a steak. Okay, I'm a big burly boy. Okay, we're out here. Where's my little thing? We're out here working out. Listen, I haven't gotten a workout recently. My thumb's almost fully healed. I'm a big burly boy. Do I look like I want to eat Bill Gates burgers and take a Bill Gates burly boy burger? No, I'm trying to eat a steak. Outback Steakhouse? No, they're foreign agents. They're working for Australia. No, I'm just kidding. But you get it. I'm weak. I got to get stronger. I was supposed to get big. I'm trying to look like Arnold, not Schwarzenegger. I'm trying to look like Arnold, the aardvark. So I have a smaller goal, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's a little too big. I can't get. I'm thinking more Arnold. Was that his name? Oh no, Arthur was the aardvark. Never mind. Arnold was the football head guy. Whatever. Cartoons are stupid anyway. Someone said Dave Smith 2024. I like Dave Smith. Someone said enough already. Stop ridiculing and talk about facts. Listen, that was funny. Okay. Comedy is okay. The Q thing is really funny to make fun of, and it's very funny. So if you don't want the comedy segment, just tune out. It's fun. It's okay to laugh. Okay. We laugh all the time here. People are serious for 2 hours. They're like pan-faced. They're like, trust the plan, man. Trust the plan. Everyone's like, holy shit. I'm trusting so hard. Oh God, I just pooped myself. Sorry. It's like, it's okay. We make jokes here. Okay. We don't just trust the plan until we poop our pants. Okay. We make jokes. My Trump impression is pretty funny. My Dr. Burke's impression is pretty funny. My Q impression is very funny. Let's calm down. Someone said Bill Gates has burgers. Well, the joke I was making, let me see. He invests in a certain company. Hold on. Bill Gates burger. Hold on. Burger company. Bill Gates invested in, let's see. What burger company? He invested in Impossible Burger. Let's see. Bill Gates appeared on Dave Rubenstein's show. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, who cares? Let's get to the point. I think Bill Gates invested in Impossible Burgers. Let me see. Why Bill Gates thinks Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat. Is Impossible Burger owned by Bill Gates? Bill Gates has invested in Impossible Foods, whose CEO says his genetically engineered synthetic meat substitutes will replace the use of animals by 2035. So yeah, he invested in Impossible Foods. And the CEO says, oh, my genetically engineered synthetic meat substitutes will replace the use of animals by 2035. It's like, calm down, bro. If you want to make your little synthetic burgers, knock yourself out. But he's like, my burgers will replace other burgers. It's like, bro, I don't want to live in your little fake world, Mr. Impossible Meat Burger Boy, okay? I don't want to live in a fake world. You want to have fake news, fake this, fake that, Zoom calls, no concerts, lockdowns, Operation Warp Speed. Leave me alone, bro. I don't want to eat synthetic, genetically modified food. Cool. That's really cool. Cool food. I don't want it. I want a real cow that I can be friends with and love. I want to love the cow so much that I don't even want to eat the cow. I'll go eat an apple off a tree. At least that's real. You know, I want to be friends with a pig. I want to stop eating bacon because I have a, you know, friendship with a pig. But that doesn't mean I have to eat synthetic modified meat, boy. I could just eat a strawberry or, you know, something you haven't genetically modified. So, you know, it's just like, just these people are just such freakazoids. They're like, it's like, can't you just make an impossible burger? I'm going to replace the use of animals by 2035. It's like, says who? These people suck. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory that we're trying to control everything. We just want to, you know, take away the main source of food that you guys have and replace it with synthetically modified stuff. That's not creepy. Yes, it is. It's very creepy. Stop. These people suck. Someone said real meat is so good and I'm also an animal. Interesting. Am I going vegan? Not right now. No, I have a confession. I ate meat today. Okay. Am I going vegan? If someone can convince me that, it's really awesome, but I get confused. You know, I eat all meat. All I do is eat meat. All I do is eat vegetables. I eat all vegetables. All I eat is meat. I don't even eat vegetables. Vegetables are bad. It's propaganda. Meat's bad. It's propaganda. I don't know who to believe. Which one's bad? You got carnivore diets. Michaela Peterson's out here eating full bisons and crap. She's like, all I do is eat meat. I don't even eat vegetables. Like, okay. I lost 150 pounds eating all meat. I'm like, that sounds cool. I lost 100. I'm jacked and all I eat is vegetables. I don't know who's telling the truth out here. I don't know who to eat. I just eat a mixture of both. Call me old fashioned. You might see some Brussels sprouts on my plate next to chicken. I don't know who to believe, so I'm trying to hedge my bets. I'm eating some vegetables. I'm eating some meat. I don't trust any of these people. I would like to. I just don't know who's telling the truth. Someone said the body tells you what it needs. I just drink too much coffee and caffeine. I don't know if my body wants that, but that's what my brain tells me. It's like, drink more almond milk lattes. I was like, okay, if you sure? Are you sure about that? We already had one today. They say normally just have another sip. I'm like, okay. It's cold though and kind of gross. Let's see where we're at. An hour and two. I'll probably stay for 5 or 10 more minutes. I want to finish my video, put it out tomorrow. I got a really good breakdown for tomorrow. You guys are going to like it. And it's definitely going to be done tomorrow. Pam said, I like Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, you know, cook them up at a nice restaurant, almonds in them, spicy. It doesn't even matter. Cut them in half. I like Brussels sprouts. Underrated. They sound gross, but when you cook them right, they're delicious. Someone said coffee. Who said that? Let me see. John said coffee is the nectar of the gods. I like to believe that. It sounds like some coffee propaganda, but I'm fully bought into it. I'm brainwashed by the coffee industrial complex. I hear you, John. I feel similar. Someone said, you're asleep on this one, Anomaly, New World Order. I'm honestly annoyed at how asleep folks are, thinking it's still just a two-party game. Well, how am I asleep on this? What did I say that makes you be like, you're asleep, Anomaly? You'll never be as awake as me. You're asleep. Let me wake you up, you sleepy guy. Sleeping on a live stream. You're live, sleeping in front of a couple thousand people, just sleeping. Let me know how to wake up to your profound state of being. I'll read your comment. Someone said you only like coffee because of all the stuff you put in it. Well, that's not true, Joe. I drink coffee black often, and I like almond milk, oat milk. I like coffee black, so I use a pour over. I'll drink it just like that. So don't you be out here judging me, thinking it's just the toppings. I'll drink a black coffee like you never seen. Missy Jean said, time for all U.S. American patriots to get involved in local politics. I love that. Shout out to Fog City Midge. I have to say, she got a lot of love and a lot of hate. She made a video on Instagram and kind of echoed some things I've been saying for a while, just saying like, listen, she kind of called out the Trump people. She's a huge Trump supporter and fanatic, but she was like, he failed us, you know? I think it's fair. If he's your leader and 4 years of him ends in more socialism than Obama, he failed, you know? So it's like, she called him out, was like, he failed. Nothing like, you guys don't want to talk about Operation Warp Speed. Shout out Fox City Midge, a patriot, a conservative who wasn't afraid to put her career on the line and just tell the truth. I mean, that's a real patriot, someone who cares about the Constitution. You don't see it very often. So shout out Fox City Midge. Give her a follow on Instagram. Someone said coffee gave me kidney stones. How much were you drinking? Yeah, maybe I should calm down with the coffee. Someone said, bro, Tom McDonald is the new independent rap king. I won't disagree. He's putting up huge numbers. He's killing it. Shout out Tom McDonald. Someone said we are changing critical race theory to critical race applied proxy, aka crap. It's a bold move. We'll see how it plays out. Anomaly loves Cowboy Bear says Anomaly loves. I'm not reading that, Cowboy Bear, but that's pretty funny. Keep your mind out of the gutter, okay? Let's have a civil conversation here, okay? Let's have a. Someone said Trump's our president. He's not though. So at a certain point, you're gonna have to join the real world. It's like Trump's my president. It's like, okay, Hillary's my president. Trump never won. Hillary's my president. She's not. She's not the president. No, Hillary's my president. Obama's still my president. It's like Obama's not in office anymore. No, Obama's my president. He's the real president. It's like, no, he's not. It's the same energy. It's like Trump's my president. Just come on, guys. People hate the left so much, people turn into the left. This is the same thing people were making fun of with the left, and now Trump supporters like, he's my president. Some people are even worse on the right because it's not even like they're just saying something. I'm not saying you, but some people are not even saying he's my president, like Obama's my president. They literally think Trump is the president because the Q people brainwashed them into thinking Trump's still the president. So there's millions of Trump supporters who literally think Trump's the president. It's literally worse than like the screaming liberal that's like, nah. It's like, guys, we got to calm down. Someone said that my dog is my president. That makes more sense. Someone said JFK is my president. Yeah, he's, I guess. Let me see. So what's the plan? Paraplegic coffee, someone said. I don't know much about it, but it sounds interesting. Paraplegic coffee. Should I know about this? Someone said Tom McDonald is a heretic. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, but all right. A few more and then we'll wrap up. Someone said KGB is watching our reality show, laughing their asses off. I mean, all this stuff is like public on the internet, so they don't even need to spy anymore. They just watch for sure. The American experiment has gone a little bit south, but that doesn't mean we could flip it around. We just got to make the right moves. Mitch, I'm not ready. Giuliano said, Anomaly, check your messages on Patreon. I will, Giuliano. Just be patient. I check them once or twice a month. I try to twice a month. But anybody on Patreon, first of all, thank you guys. Patreon.com/raretalk. That's huge, especially with everything. So thank you guys on Patreon. But my whole thing is I answer all the messages on Patreon. That's a perk. I can't answer them every day. I can't answer them every week. I do all my own editing, all my own videos, all my own live streams. I actually have a real life too, believe it or not. It's not great, but it is what it is. You got to be a little patient with me, my man. I'm not like emboldened to answering every single day. I couldn't do it unless you want me to not make videos anymore and just sit on Patreon. So just give me some time. I'll answer every message. I always do. It's not going to be immediate always, but I will get to it. I promise. Someone said we have both pushing us to the crap pile. I hear you. William said, no, I'm not saying Trump is the president. I'm just saying our votes have been stolen. I mean, here's my thing. At this point, you got to figure out what would make you feel like it was a more fair election. I know people aren't going to agree, but I really feel like Trump is just putting on a show. I feel like he's running in circles, getting his supporters set up, getting them kicked off social media, getting them arrested at the Capitol. It's like, to me, Trump is a train wreck of a leader. He not only couldn't keep our country afloat, he not only couldn't keep the Constitution intact, he couldn't stop socialism, he implemented it, but he runs in circles and acts like he didn't know. He didn't know about machine voting. He didn't know about mass mail-in ballots. He's this moron who couldn't figure it out till after November. He's just setting you guys up. I know you don't want to hear that, but at a certain point, it's like, I see what people who follow Trump are saying, and they're all saying the same three things on repeat. The same things he says are the same things they say. They say them, they get deleted. What happens? Did you solve the election? Did you make it more fair? Are you going to overturn it? None of this is working. He's like a setup leader. He just puts on this clown show. Everybody repeats the same three things he says, and they keep getting set up. And the more they get set up, the more they repeat them. It's like people got to crack out of this like Trump zone. It's getting worse than liberals. If you think the election was whatever it was, I don't even disagree with you. But it's like I feel like I'm talking to like a robot. People just keep saying the same three things. Trump didn't know about machine voting. All of a sudden, you could find articles of Amy Klobuchar, Texas, all these people talking about the machines that Trump complained about after. How did they know about it 3 years before, but Trump didn't know? How did he win in 2016? How did Republicans win the Senate in 2018? You get what I'm saying? I'm asking you guys a question. Kimberly said, I was following you until now. You just lost me. Bye. Then go get set up by the vaccine salesman, okay? Trump's out. He's selling Moderna, selling Pfizer, selling Johnson & Johnson, funding Big Pharma, cranking in socialism into the country, putting on a circus for you, and we can't even have a real conversation. You guys just keep repeating the same four things on loop. If you want to leave, go find somebody who supports the vaccine salesman more. Someone says, so how should he have done it in regards to the voting machines? I'm just saying he complained about the voting machines in 2012 on his Twitter. He knew about them since 2012. Everybody knew about the machines he was complaining about 3 years ago. He doesn't care. I feel like you guys think he cares so much about all this. He cares about me. He doesn't give a crap about his supporters. He didn't care about you in March, in April, and May. He set everybody up at the Capitol. What, like, you think he knew about it 10 years ago, but he just forgot about it during the election? He locked the country down and didn't even know that he just got blindsided. None of this is, oh, he had lunch. He's meeting with Mark Zuckerberg. Put him back in office. He's going to fight big tech. It's just when he was in office and he had the most powerful leadership position in the world, he didn't know Mark Zuckerberg was going to do that. So he just was eating lunch with them. Oh, yeah, let's elect him. And now he knows. Now he really knows what's going on. He's like an actor to me. It's like you guys keep falling for this. He didn't know about the election anomaly. Oh, yeah, he couldn't figure all this stuff out. I mean, he was only president for 4 years. He only won on machine voting in 2016 and 2018. They won. But 2020, I mean, he just didn't even figure this stuff out until after the election. It's like, and then the Capitol event, I mean, yeah, it's like he just didn't know. Yeah, he knows everything. He just doesn't know anything. It's just getting like, he reminds me of a friend that just keeps getting you in trouble, and you just keep following him, and he keeps getting you in trouble where it's like, okay, yeah, just keep saying the election's stolen 15 times in a row and just running in circles like a chicken. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But if you lost me, yeah, of course I lost you, because you're saying the same four things over and over and doing nothing about it and getting no results. Dialogue said, after a couple of years of the Democrats running the country, the Republicans will win the hearts of the majority. It'll be fine. I mean, I'm all for audits. I'm all for like fair elections, and I think voting should be in person, in my opinion, and it should be identification. But as far as like, he didn't know, like if you look at he didn't know. I mean, he funded the vaccines. He didn't know. I mean, the election, yeah, he knew about the machine. He just didn't know. He won 2016, but in 2020, yeah, he knows. Someone said, you lost me too, man. You're usually right on, but tonight you might have gotten into the wrong mushrooms. Bye. Bro, it's the Trump cult is getting like pathetic. It's like when I say 2020 was more socialist than Obama, people freak out. It's like Trump brainwashed people. I'm sorry, but it's like they can't think straight anymore. He scrambled their brains. He says things 4 times in a row. I'm saying, I mean, what part of what I'm saying is not oh no, Trump knows everything. I mean, he won in 2016 and we won the Senate in 2018, but in 2020, Dominion just snuck up on him. How come Amy Klobuchar was talking about it in Texas? Everyone was talking about Dominion voting, but just Trump just couldn't figure it out till after the election. Yeah, that's as believable as Trump didn't know big tech was corrupt. He was eating dinner with Mark Zuckerberg, and then he just figured it out after the election. And you guys believe him? You're going to keep getting set up. They're like, anomaly. How dare, I mean, Trump didn't know. He just didn't know big tech was corrupt. I mean, it was only corrupt in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 and 2019. And in 2019, Trump passed an executive order to infringe on your First Amendment because he doesn't give a shit about your First Amendment. And then he locked the country down, Operation Warp Speed, printed out trillions of dollars, became a vaccine salesman. He just didn't know. I mean, Dominion just snuck up behind him and he couldn't even figure it out. It's like, if you believe that, you're going to get set up again, just like you did on the 6th. I didn't go to the 6th because I knew the vaccine salesman was lying. Everybody who believed the vaccine salesman went to the Capitol event and thought Mike Pence was going to secretly save their life. Trump brainwashed you. And the people who got brainwashed into going to the Capitol, most of them have had their lives ruined for going there. Even if they didn't go in the Capitol, just for attending, they've had their lives ruined for following the vaccine salesman. So if you guys want to lie to yourself and act like Trump had no idea how voting worked or machine voting, and he just figured it out after the election, you're gullible enough to go to an event at the Capitol and get arrested by the feds. So go ahead, follow the vaccine salesman. Follow a guy that ran in 2015 on being skeptical of vaccines and turned into the most prolific Moderna and Pfizer salesman in modern history. That's who Trump is. Outside of Bill Gates or Fauci, Trump is a vaccine salesman. So if you want to keep running in circles and think that he just doesn't know anything, yeah, sure. You lost me, Anomaly. Of course I did, because I'm not stupid enough to follow a vaccine salesman to a Capitol event where all of his most prolific supporters and organizers got set up. Who do you think got set up the most at the 6th event? Organizers. Anybody who organized any part of that probably got raided, called, arrested, or at bare minimum their whole life is screwed up. Why? For believing that Trump was actually going to do something for them in the 6th. So at what point do you figure it out? He doesn't know about the anomaly, the audits. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, just keep following it. He'll figure it out soon. My gosh, got to separate from these people. So Brandon said I'll debate you on this. I think Styx Hexenhammer wants to debate me. I'm going to debate him later this week. I'm undefeated in this debate. I'll keep winning debates. If you want to reach out to me and there's a good way to do it, that's fine. Someone said, did I not see the 140,000 odd votes from Trump? I'm not disagreeing that something shady happened. I mean, maybe people are not following me, but I'm not disagreeing that something I'm just saying, what do you do about it? Do you just keep repeating the same 4 things on loop and running to Trump rallies and getting set up? Or, there's a way to go about it. So if you watch the Fog City Midge, she's the biggest Trump supporter, and she's like, they're putting on a show for you. She thinks the same thing that you guys think, even harder, but she's like, they're not even doing anything. Like all of these little shows they're putting on for you, they're not making the elections fair. It's all a show. But it's fine. I'm just like, I don't want, to be honest, I don't care if people leave, because it's people, I'm not blaming you, but it's people that keep following the vaccine salesman that keep getting people like me in trouble. The more you guys run down the rabbit hole and get set up by Trump, the more it affects everybody. So it's like, I don't care if you leave. I hope you do, because I don't want to be associated to people who go to events like January 6th, get everybody else set up. I'm over this stuff. I don't want to be anywhere near that guy. He just keeps setting his supporters up. Cowboy Bear said, keep shaming Trump. He was just a pressure valve to keep the country from blowing up 4 years ago. He sold the U.S. into socialism, slavery to make a fat stacks. Thank you for the super chat, Cowboy Bear. Thank you for your perspective. Dialogue said, ultimately, what you are saying is important, but we ought to stay away from giving any more man complete blind faith. I agree. That being said, I still think Trump was good. You can only do so much before being shot and killed like JFK. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Rhonda said, I still want Trump back. Okay. I read comments. I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to really mention him today, but that often, but I just read comments. I can't help that people want to talk about it. Someone said, you could certainly keep repeating the same things tonight. G, make a point. I've made my point 100 times, but if people don't want to hear my point, it doesn't matter. The point I made earlier, and I've made it 1,000 times, so I'm not trying to bore people. People get more upset when you talk about this than they do about our Constitution. This is why I just did a whole segment, just run it back 30 minutes when it's done, and you could hear it in a much more fun way. Republicans love losing. They love losing ground. They love losing leaders. They love, their idol who was supposed to fight Big Pharma. Name me a president who did more for Big Pharma than Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave more money, more power, more control, more authority over our country than any other president with Big Pharma, besides maybe Ronald Reagan with the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. So how are we going to fight the system when Trump is taking the most corrupt industry, putting them on a pedal, and selling their emergency use authorized product? That's who Trump is. That's what Trump is doing. Can I talk about it? I have to live in a world where I can't even go to certain events because they're threatening me and pressuring me with a big pharma injection, and I'm just supposed to not talk about it when our leader is the salesman of that product? Yeah, people get more mad when you say that than they do that it's happening. That's why Republicans lose. That's my point. Republicans love losing. They love following losers. They love following liars. They love getting set up and then getting set up again. They love a little circus. Ooh, I'm going to run again and I'm going to fight Dominion. It's like they're not doing shit. They knew about this before. They knew about it after. They set people up in January, and they're going to keep setting you up. So stay away from me. It's fine. Unfollow my channel, because the next event that people get set up at, you're not going to see me at it because I already know what they're doing. So what's my point? My point is, this is what conservatives do. They love losing. They get attached to losers. They get mad when you tell them about it. They don't care that their Constitution got infringed upon by Trump. They defend it. They defend him. They don't care that socialism came harder under Trump than Obama. They defend it. They defend him. So what is the conservative conserving? Nothing. They're conserving this crybaby attitude that they worship false idols more than they even like our country. Someone tweeted to me today, I think these people care about Trump more than the country. Yeah, you think so? That's exactly it. They don't care about the country at all. They don't care about the Constitution. They're not socially conservative. They're not fiscally conservative. They're not economically conservative. What are they? They're Trump crybabies who cry when you point out accurately that he's not the be all end all. They just want to say election fraud, election fraud, election fraud. Yeah, go ahead. Go attend the next event like the Capitol. Mike Pence is going to overturn our election. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mike Pence is, January 6th. Yeah. Mike Pence is really going to change the vote. Yeah. Kamala is going to change the vote in 2024. She's going to send it back to the electorates. Really? People just want to hear. This is why the most popular person on BitChute, okay? BitChute is a free website where you could talk about anything. If you go to BitChute, the #1 most popular video is QAnon people. Why are the Q stuff the most popular video on BitChute? People love being lied to. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to go to QAnon and X22 Report and Simon Parks, a bunch of these frauds, and say, oh, guys, Trump is the shadow president. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's going to come back and save your life. The audits are going to blow your mind. And this shit gets 100,000 views. People love being lied to. This is why conservatives lose. In a free market of ideas, like on BitChute, the top 4 videos are all pathological liars and controlled opposition. Why? Because that's what Trump supporters want to hear. They don't want to hear he's selling vaccines. They want to hear that the vaccine is a super secret word to fight the vaccines. That's what these frauds are pushing. So what's my point? My point is Republicans rightfully lose because they love following liars. They hate the truth. They defend communism. They defend medical tyranny harder than they oppose it. If everybody opposed it, it wouldn't be happening. So it's the same thing that happened in April. Oh, I'm done with you now, Anomaly. I'm just saying, yelling about election fraud is not going to do anything. You have to actually do something. But when, if you're involved in the Arizona audit, that's one thing. Libby said, who paid you off? Anomaly. Libby, what part of what I'm saying, what don't you get? You can't even attack the element of what I'm saying. So you accuse me of being paid off. Who do you think's paying me to stand up to Big Pharma? Did you ever think maybe Trump did or something? I'm not accusing him falsely, but He's selling Moderna. He's selling Pfizer. He's selling Johnson & Johnson. Just like the television stations, they get paid money and they sell pharmacy products. So did you ever ask yourself why somebody who's a vaccine skeptic like Trump decided to be the biggest salesman in modern history? Oh, but I'm the sellout because I'm having the same thing. Trump brainwashed Republicans. He brainwashed you guys into socialist supporting, amendment constitutional ruining. It's over for conservatives at this point. Who paid you off to tell the truth? I mean, I'm going to go to the next vaccine rally and hear about Pfizer and Moderna. It's like, come on, guys. Stop feeding the trolls. It's not the trolls. It's half of the country who got brainwashed by Trump. They're not trolls. It's so sad. My point is to find us an accurate candidate that won't lie. Here's another straw man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying your job as a citizen is not to make it. If you guys want socialism, take it. You deserve it. This is what you want. Who's the candidate? I'm not talking about candidates. You love it. You love losing. You love socialism. You love medical tyranny. You love the vaccine salesman. You love the fact that he's taking meetings with Zuckerberg and lying to you and acting like he didn't know big tech was a threat. So lose. Go on BitChute and watch X22 report. Oh, guys, the plan's coming. Trump's the savior. 300,000 views. Oh, my God, vaccine's a secret code word. That's what you want to hear. So why would you get freedom? What do you even, no one can even debunk what I'm saying. So like, Anomaly just wants the perfect candidate. No, I want the conservative base to actually do what they pretend to do. But you guys don't want to. You want to just run circles around a guy that didn't stand up for any of your values. Someone said, I'm sad. I'm not sad. This is sad. What do conservatives actually care about? Like, what can anybody make a valid point? Anybody? Who paid you off? Who do you think pays me to take a hardline stance against communism? You think there's a big budget for that? No, there's a budget for Republicans like Trump and Dan Crenshaw and DeSantis, who are Zionists, who support Israel more than America. That's where the money is. You think the money's in talking what I talk about? All the Republican money's in promoting Zionism. Any Republican that will promote Israel harder than they promote America, they get the money, not me. People who sell vaccines like Trump, they get the money. Not you think there's a big budget for people who tell the truth about this? Who's paying me? Who do you think has an interest in paying me to take a stance that you took 2 years ago? If Obama did this, you would say the same thing I'm saying. This is crazy. People have lost their minds. It's so sad. Someone said your rant's as bad as your Bob Ross video. No, this is better than the video, but in general, can anybody make a point? Make a point. Someone said, if I believe what I'm telling everyone, then get involved in organized campaign and run for office. This is a false misdemeanor. You have to run in order to say something. I'm a tax-paying citizen and I'm a media creator, okay? So I create content. I don't like the media. I make my own media and I'm damn successful at it. So that's like, what do? Oh, you need to run for, you don't need to run for office. That's not the only way to impact society. If you're a tax-paying citizen, you could speak your mind and stand up for yourself. You don't have to run for office to oppose forced vaccination. You don't have to run for office to oppose socialism. You don't have to run for office to make an impact on your community in the world. I would argue that the media has an even bigger impact than certain politicians. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing what I want to do. You can't act like what I'm not doing is not important because I'm not running for office. That's just another stupid straw man that people don't want to hear. Uncle Greg Show said, amen, brother. International capitalists are trying to usher in an era of neo-feudalism. People need to leave Trump behind. We deserve a better hero. Thanks for the super chat, Uncle Greg. I'm willing. Who can anybody make a good? Jim said the only way to bring about what you're talking about is to set a term limit for all. This is another misnomer. Term limits don't matter as much as what you're talking about. AOC, is she better than Nancy Pelosi? Is the next AOC going to be better than AOC? Term limits are overrated. You can make them. It might help a little bit, but it's people. Guys, this is why I'm doing media. It's the culture. If you have 100 million people worshiping a vaccine salesman, it doesn't matter if it looks like Donald Trump, Dan Crenshaw, AOC, or Nancy Pelosi. Term limits are not going to save you. No one's going to save you. I don't need to run for office. People just need to hear what I'm saying and actually stand up for their values. It's that simple. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden or Crenshaw or AOC, but do what you say you believe. You guys spend more energy opposing me. Who do you know that took a hardline stance against the lockdowns and the medical tyranny? I'm one of the people who did it the most. Why are you mad at me? Because I don't worship the vaccine salesman Trump like a god, so it hurts your feelings. Anomaly, you think he didn't know about machine voting before the election? That hurts your feelings? It's this big show where he dips a carrot in front of your face and you keep trying to bite it and you never get there because that's the show. It's all a show. But continue. Anything else? Any better points? Because these ones were not. Someone said the problem is you, the people. You are either your own destroyer, your own savior. This is the base, though. They're like, you need to run for office. Like, you don't. No, you don't. Someone said globalism. Yeah, at a certain point, though, people need to realize there's two sides of the globalism coin. And one of the sides, how are you an anti-globalist leader when you're pushing Operation Warp Speed, when you lock down just like the other ones? He goes on television and says, me and Angela Merkel got along. Yeah, of course, Trump and Angela Merkel got along. No offense, but it's like, has he said anything about Australia or the United Kingdom or Canada? Or, has he really taken a hardline stance against vaccination segregation? He's barely said anything about it. It's like, whatever. People, who cares? I don't want to be in Congress. Someone said, I'm on your side, Anomaly. This is the whole point of what I was saying an hour ago or a half hour ago. It's like, this is the conservative culture. They blacklist their own people. They cry when people take a hardline stance against socialism. They get mad when you say that people had previous, like, people think Trump is simultaneously the smartest person in the world and the dumbest person ever. He's doing everything I could ever possibly want. He just didn't do anything I wanted, and he just got blindsided. It's like, whatever. It's getting old. It's getting annoying. But do I have anything good to say about Trump at all, man? Bro, I have 1,000 videos, but it's like, just click the unfollow button. I don't understand what part of what I said today you don't want to get. It's like, people love getting lied to. So go ahead, follow the Zionist Republican Party. See where it leads you. Oh my God, Anomaly, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's the truth. They're all putting a different priority in front of America. You want to lose your country, just keep following this. Do you have anything nice to say? Yeah, I've said it in 10,000 videos, complimenting Trump, promoting him, supporting him. In the last 30 videos I did, I probably complimented him 100 times, said what he was good at, what he did. But can you listen to what I'm saying or no? Or do you want to follow these Zionist Republicans who take hundreds of millions of dollars, sell out America to a foreign country, pass speech laws for a foreign country? That's what Trump did, pass speech laws for Israel. That's what DeSantis did, pass speech laws for Israel. You think an America first politician is going to pass anti-First Amendment speech laws? They don't give a shit about you guys. And you're going to figure it out when it's too late. And your country's going to be ruined. And your constitution's already getting ruined. And you're just going to keep going to the rallies because it just feels good and getting mad at me. Yeah, good luck. You guys are going to get everything that people deserve. You're going to get it. Not capitalism, not freedom. You don't like freedom. You don't like the truth. So when all this happens, it's no shocker. It's not Trump's fault. It's the fact that Trump supporters don't want to hear the truth. They'd rather lie. They'd rather make excuses for lockdowns. Then enjoy them. Enjoy your future. Base Capone said, they say if Obama did COVID, the right wouldn't stand. This is happening with Biden, and not one Republican con or gun-toting Bible thumper is doing a thing. Wait till the lockdown with the Delta variant. I have to agree with you, Base Capone. I think it's wrong to say if Obama was president that they wouldn't stand for it. Maybe I'm wrong. Republicans are just weak and pathetic. No offense, but I'm a Republican. I'm just saying. Maybe they're so weak and pathetic that it doesn't even matter. Biden, Obama, Trump, they're just subservient. They don't care about capitalism. They don't care about the free market. They don't care that they close churches and beaches. They don't care that Trump and Biden are printing trillions of dollars. I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're just going to sit on Getter and Twitter and just make excuses for why Trump did everything and wave their Trump flags. And then when communism comes, they're just going to be like, well, I wish I had Trump back. Maybe you're right. Maybe they won't do anything. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden. They're just going to sit there and make excuses and follow the audit. Oh, yeah, the election's going to last 5 years. Just keep following it. Here, it's going to come any day now. The military's in control. Someone said you talk about CNN more than Trump. It's getting boring. I must be the most exciting, boring person ever if it's an hour and 34 minutes into my live stream and you're still here. Most television shows don't even last an hour, and you've been here for an hour, 30 minutes saying I'm getting boring. I must be the most exciting, boring person on the planet. Even the people who hate what I'm saying can't stop watching it. Anytime I block someone on Twitter for being annoying, they cry to me on Instagram. Oh my God, you blocked me on Twitter. Now I blocked you on Instagram because you're annoying. Oh man, I'm so terrible that you can't even tune out. Someone said this is the best reality show. It's not like I don't have this victim mentality like, oh my God, it's all Trump's fault. He did this to me. Oh my God, it's all liberals' fault. It's conservatives' fault. It's your country. It's conservatives' fault. It's not just liberals' fault. It's conservatives' fault. Conservatives talk a big game. They talk about capitalism. They go to Charlie Kirk events. Socialism sucks. Socialism sucks. I'm against Venezuela, blah, blah, blah. Venezuela did communism. Who do you think started the decline into what hopefully won't be hyperinflation? Do you think Biden started it? No, it probably started decades ago. But in general, Trump printed more money than any other president in modern history. How do you think Venezuela went into hyperinflation? They printed too much money. Who printed more money than Obama? Trump. Trump printed the money. So you guys hate socialism unless the vaccine salesman, your daddy, does it. And all of a sudden you don't hate socialism anymore. So what is a base that doesn't even believe in anything they say? I believe in the First Amendment. That's why I disagree with DeSantis and Trump when they passed anti-First Amendment speech laws for Zionism. That's what they did. Not for Israel, not for Jewish people, for their Zionist agenda. That's why they passed the speech laws. It's not First Amendment. It's more hate speech laws. It's more regulations. It's more rules. They're screwing you for generations with these hate speech laws they're passing. Why do I disagree with that? Is it because I'm anti-Semitic? No. Is it because I hate Trump? No. Is it because I hate DeSantis? No. Is it because someone paid me to say this? No. It's because I actually believe what the First Amendment says. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I shouldn't believe the First Amendment, but I do. I believe that we should have the freedom of speech and exercise for even the most unpopular ideas. The left doesn't believe in the First Amendment. Facebook doesn't believe in the First Amendment. Twitter doesn't believe in the First Amendment. And Trump and DeSantis don't believe in the First Amendment. That's why they passed speech laws. I believe in the First Amendment. Someone said anomaly is flipped. I flipped because I believe in the First Amendment. What I'm saying is going over your head because you guys worship these people so much you don't even know they're doing it. They infringed on the First Amendment. DeSantis infringed on the First Amendment. Trump infringed on the First Amendment. And you're going to figure out how and why they did it in 3 years when you're not free to speak about the overlords who run you, which has already been the case in 2020 on social media. How did I switch sides? This is the whole point I'm trying to make. Conservatives don't actually believe in any of the things. They believe in worshiping and sucking on Daddy Trump's teat. That's the only thing that conservatives believe. They don't believe in the free market. They're not fiscally conservative, socially conservative. They don't oppose socialism. They don't oppose communism. They'll make excuses for medical tyranny and vaccine tyranny when Trump is involved in it. And then when you talk about how the First Amendment was infringed under Republicans, they say I flip-flopped. Oh yeah, anomalies paid by the free speech industrial complex. Who do you think paid me? Noam Chomsky 30 years ago to stand up for the First Amendment? Maybe, George Carlin resurrected from the grave to pay me off to stand up for the First Amendment. Who do you think paid me to stand up for the First Amendment? Oh yeah, there's big money, the free speech industrial complex going around. I mean, George Carlin's really funding the deep state. It's like, guys, listen to what I'm saying. I believe in the First Amendment. Trump infringed on the First Amendment. DeSantis infringed on the First Amendment by passing fake, woke executive orders and bills under the guise of anti-Semitism that are not there to protect your Jewish friends, that are religious bills under the guise of religion that protect a foreign country. Most of the, where their money comes from, the people are interested in that agenda. And they pass a law that says you can't talk about powerful people like Mark Zuckerberg and Susan Wojcicki. So when you, in 2 years, figure out, why can't I say it? It's not just the left. Both parties are passing speech laws. There's a reason you're losing in this country. Republicans aren't really fighting for you. They're passing speech laws. If you're in power, there's a way to do something and at bare minimum hold your ground. And then there's a way to lose more freedom. That's what they did. And then they tell you after the election, oh, I didn't know Mark Zuckerberg was really going to do that. Oh man, I was having dinner with him. It's like, and you believe it, and you want to say I'm a turncoat because more and more Trump supporters are going to figure it out. Fog City Midge was one of the biggest Trump supporters, worked with Steve Bannon. She's been saying the same exact thing. Why? Because at a certain point, once you realize that it's happening, it's obvious. And either you're a patriot or you're just a Trump supporter. I mean, it's like at a certain point, either you believe in what you believe or you don't. And I'll tell you what, without giving too much information, you'll see when I talk to people, when I interact, we'll see what's coming up. But like, there's people who just say things to say things. Like, they're not protecting the Constitution. They're protecting their identity as the conservative talking point. They don't know what they're talking about anymore. They just say, oh, Iran's bad. It's like, okay, yeah, you hate Iran. I get it. But like, what else? Like, it's all fake. It's all just little like Fox News sound bites to make you guys think you're fighting something, but they're not fighting for you. That's what happened. And I've done full videos. People don't want to hear this stuff, though. I'm telling you, I made a video 2 years ago. I made a full-blown video with examples, legislation. I went through the DeSantis legislation, the Trump legislation, and I explained from a free speech perspective why they were passing anti-First Amendment bills. I have the receipts. I have the videos. I have the articles. That's what they did. People didn't want to watch it. It doesn't get that many views. I can't make people watch it. So people didn't like, even when I had a bigger audience on Facebook. Some of it might be because of what I'm saying. A lot of it, I think, is their algorithm. But anyway, I was getting 200,000 views minimum on videos. That one couldn't even clear 60,000. But if I would have made up Trump is secretly in control of the military through a submarine, I could have got 300,000 views. That's not Trump's fault. This is reality. It's like the tough truth for the left or the right. People don't want to hear. They want to hear that their team's winning. That's the problem in politics. Someone said lost my support. I could care less. I don't care. I appreciate your support, but I don't care. I really don't. It's like, I'm not here for fakery. Why would you support a Republican that doesn't even support the First Amendment? It's like, well, I don't care that he doesn't because I'm not even going to listen to what you said. I'm just going to pretend like he does. Why would you get freedom if you don't even want to hear how you're losing it on both sides? Oh man, they couldn't figure out that big tech was a problem, but I could. How come I could? I have a smartphone and I could figure it out in 2016, but they couldn't figure it out till after the election. Yeah, that's really believable. To who? Someone said, I love your live stream freestyles. Appreciate it. Someone said, no, I don't believe any of that stuff you were saying about Trump. No conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory. What are you talking about? Everything I'm saying is public proof. People accuse me of acting like CNN. The whole segment earlier, I said, CNN is calling Tucker Carlson a conspiracy theorist because they can't dissect what he's saying, because most of what he's saying is provably obvious. So that's what CNN does. You're a conspiracy theorist when they can't figure out how to debunk what I'm saying. You're calling it a conspiracy. What part of what I said is a conspiracy theory? Operation Warp Speed is legislation. The CARES Act is legislation. The anti-Semitism executive order is legislation. Trump passed a bill. This is the part you guys don't get. Listen to what I'm saying. This is not a conspiracy theory. He passed an executive order to make it harder or take away money from schools that support anti-Israel protests. If you can't protest Israel on a college campus, you don't have the First Amendment. If the First Amendment doesn't protect all, it protects none. Trump infringed on that, but people don't know, because the same time Trump is infringing on the First Amendment and making protest and free speech an offense by law with his executive order, Dennis Prager's out saying no safe spaces, no safe spaces. But they're all Zionists and they all support that anti-First Amendment legislation because they don't actually believe anything they say. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just not popular because no one else will tell you this stuff. There is no conspiracy theory about Trump. I'm just saying his mouth said, I support the First Amendment, but his actions infringed on it. His mouth said, I'm fighting big tech, but his actions didn't do anything. His mouth said, I'm skeptical of vaccines and I'm skeptical of big pharma. His actions said, I funded them and I'm promoting them. And I don't even seem to care half as much about what's happening with them as I do about selling them. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's the reality. Like, there's no fake theory I'm making up. It's unbelievable, man. It's unfortunate, but whatever. Someone said you're right. We need more safe spaces. We don't need more safe spaces. Someone said, guys, he's talking about what a dog and pony show this whole side is. But people don't want to hear it's a dog and pony show when they like the dog and pony show. That's the problem. People loved Obama on the left. I knew Obama was a puppet the whole time. I don't know. I just had a good insight on that, and I didn't care about politics. But if you tell a Democrat, someone said, anomaly, not weird about your buddy Biden. I don't like Joe Biden, but what is he doing besides eating ice cream and barely mumbling? He's not even running the show. But anyway, it's like people don't want to hear Obama. Oh, Obama's saving my life. He's the first black president. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And Trump supporters are just as bad. They don't want to hear that Trump isn't. Oh no, he's doing everything he can. Yeah, that's why they keep emailing me. Anomaly, why aren't you donating to the Republican Party? I keep getting RNC mail. Anomaly, we need your money. It's like, yeah, you want my money, but why would I pay you? You guys aren't doing shit. It's not even worth talking about. I'll just end from now on. I mean, I'm having a good time, but I'll end my live stream earlier because people can't handle it. It's going to be the same conversation on loop. It's really not fun. Someone said, Anomaly, you've been right about Trump. At first, I doubted stuff you said, but there's inevitable proof. I'm not getting into his personal life. I'm just saying the reality is either conservatives actually care about the values they claim to care about, or they don't. If your obsession over a human being means more to you than the First Amendment of the Constitution, you're not going to have it. So it's that simple. I'm not saying Trump is this. I'm not saying he's that. I'm not going to say he's part of this or part of that. I'm talking about observable reality. So if your whole thing is, I support the First Amendment, and he passes something that goes against the First Amendment, and you don't care because that's your guy, that is part of the scam, whether they mean to do it or not. So that's really it. I'm not trying to come at a personal shot at Trump or anyone. It's just like either you actually care about the First Amendment or you don't. Conservatives don't. Liberals don't. That's why we don't have it. Liberals don't care about it. Facebook doesn't care about the First Amendment. Google doesn't care about it. And your idols, DeSantis and Trump, are passing anti-First Amendment legislation under the guise of religion, but they're really passing them for Israel and certain non-religious Jews. DeSantis, if you look up his bill, he passed an anti-Semitism speech bill in schools, and he said it was a religion bill. So the reason it passed was it's religious protection. Doesn't include Hindus. That's weird. If it's for all religions, how come it doesn't include Hindus? It doesn't include Christians or Catholics. Well, that's weird. How come a Christian Zionist is passing a religion bill that doesn't even include his own religion? Isn't that a little bit weird? And how come he flew over to Israel to pass a Floridian bill? The first Florida bill passed on foreign soil. That's a little weird. It doesn't include Muslims. It doesn't include any religion. It includes only Jewish people, but it also includes non-religious Jewish people, which isn't a religion. It's a race. So it's a racial bill under the guise of a religion for 70% of the people who aren't religious and 30% who are. And then it's also for a foreign country that has nothing to do with religion. Do you know what that means? It's not a religion bill, and it's not a First Amendment bill. It infringes on the First Amendment. And if you read the laws that you can't say, these are not things that protect your favorite Jewish conservative commentator. It's only going to protect the rich and powerful people because the bill is designed in that way. Read the bill. It says you can't question power in media. I mean, that's a conspiracy theory. If it's a conspiracy theory, why are you passing it into law around DeSantis? It's because the Republican Party, they're Zionists. And unfortunately for you, the Zionists don't care about the First Amendment, and they don't prioritize America over Israel. That's just the truth. I'm not hateful. I don't hate Israel. I don't hate anyone. The truth is that's the Republican Party. They're not America first. They are Zionists first, Israel first, and they will pass speech laws against your Constitution, and you don't even want to hear about it. So why would you get freedom? You don't deserve it. You don't care about it. So both parties are giving up your freedom. It's just you think it's only one party. So it's going to keep happening because that's who they are. That's what they're doing. That's where the money is. That's where the power is. Any Republican that's not a full-blown Zionist that'll prioritize Israel over America, you're not going to get there. You know, I mean, if you do, they're going to hate you and they're going to try to blacklist you just like the left wing does. If you get to a prominent position and you're not a full-blown Zionist Republican who will be willing to pass anti-First Amendment legislation for Israel, they'll probably try to smear you and blacklist you, and the right-wing media complex will come together and say, oh my God, he's an anti-Semite, he's a racist, oh my God. That's what they'll do. It's all a show. I know people don't want to hear it, but I guess you don't want your First Amendment, then I do. I guess I'm crazy. Maybe I should just give it up and get ready for a country without it. But I don't think that's a good idea. Julie said, if you're ever in Arizona, hit me up. Thank you, Julie. The best way to hit on me is on Instagram, but I appreciate the YouTube super chat. I don't really read anything else that often. Someone said, consider this, the conservatives hold what they got while liberals are constantly on the offensive. How does that turn out long-term? That would include actually holding it. Someone said, congratulations on your new turncoat anomaly. Guys, I don't understand how you can't process what I'm saying. Ready? I'm going to read the First Amendment of the United States. Maybe this is over your head because you guys are so brainwashed by Trump, you don't even understand what the First Amendment says. Ready? Here's the First Amendment. I'm going to read it. The First Amendment says, hold on, let's get to it. Let's see. I can't even find the First Amendment. Hold on. I'm trying to find like an official thing. This is so crazy. First Amendment protects several basic freedoms in the United States, including the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and the freedom of press, the right to assemble, and the right to petition the government. Trump and Ron DeSantis, this is not a turncoat. This is a First Amendment stance. They both pass legislation that infringe on your right to speak freely and your right to protest. Trump passed an executive order to essentially deem it illegal at financial cost to protest a foreign country. Who's the turncoat? The guy who supports the First Amendment, or the president who told you he was supporting the First Amendment, who passed an anti-First Amendment executive order to deem it illegal to protest Israel? That's what Trump did. I'm a turncoat for supporting the First Amendment. What is the Trump movement? You don't support the First Amendment. You don't oppose communism. You don't oppose socialism. What do they do? I don't understand what they do except call everybody out who actually stands for the things they claim to stand for. So how else are you going to stop all the crap the liberals are pushing on everyone? At least DeSantis has the balls to stand up to them. I've complimented DeSantis a million times. You're not listening to me. If you want your freedom of speech and these people are infringing on it this much and these people are infringing on it this much and you don't want to hear about it, you're not going to have it for very long. And you don't deserve it at all. You don't deserve it. Why would you get free speech when you get mad when you hear how your side's selling it out? You could vote for DeSantis and you could vote for Trump, but there is no movement in the right wing standing up when they give it up. Why? Because all the media figures on the right support it. And anybody like me who says it, everybody cries and calls you an anti-Semite and a racist and a turncoat. So what part of what I said don't you get? How are you going to fight the left? By becoming the left. How are we going to fight the left? By not turning into Barack Obama. But guess what happened in March of 2020? Trump signed a bill that printed $2 trillion that's more radical than an AOC bill. And then he told Thomas Massie to shut up and leave the Republican Party. How are you going to fight the left when you're a worse version of the left 5 years ago? How are you going to fight the left's anti-free speech when you don't even want to hear how your side's giving it out? I would vote for DeSantis over Joe Biden 10 times out of 10, but that doesn't mean I'm going to cry when somebody tells me he's infringing on the First Amendment. I'm going to say that sucks, and the Republican Party has to stop doing that. But they're never going to stop doing that because this is how people respond. Someone said, when did Trump pass the law? Just curious. And what was the guise under? I'll read it right now. It was an executive order Trump under the guise of anti-Semitism. That's how they do it always on the right. People call me a Nazi for saying this. Oh my God, Anomaly, you stand up for the Constitution. Ready? This is combating anti-Semitism. Ready? I'm just going to read it off Wikipedia real quick. I know Wikipedia is not the best source, but it's a quick. The executive order on combating anti-Semitism is an executive order announced by U.S. President Donald Trump on December 10th, 2019, and signed the next day. The purpose of the order was said to prevent anti-Semitism by making it easier to use laws prohibiting institutional discrimination against people based on race, color, and national origin, to punish discrimination against Jewish people, including opposition to policies undertaken by the government of Israel. So he passed an executive order, basically saying we're going to protect Jewish people, but the First Amendment protects all sorts of speech. So he's using the false guise of anti-Semitism to make it illegal to protest Israel on a college campus. You get fined now, you lose funding. And in some cases, Abby Martin, who I don't even like that much, she had to take it to court or she had to fight it because now they're threatening, like they threatened Ben Shapiro speaking on a college campus. Now, if you're somebody who opposes Israel in some way, you don't have your First Amendment right anymore. So it's the same tactics and tricks that the left use. They say, you're a racist, you're a sexist, we need to take away your free speech. These are words created to take away your freedom. Anti-Semitism is no different. There's people who hate Jewish people. There's people who hate Israel. But in America, there's the First Amendment that protects your right. What is hate? Some people hate the truth. So if you start legislating hate, you're taking away people's freedom. Let me see. Protest. Look, you can read the whole thing, but it's not what people think it is. Someone said, "Oh, I support Hamas." This is another straw man argument. I don't support Hamas. I don't like Hamas. Do you guys hear yourself? Oh, so if you stand up for the First Amendment, you must be a terrorist. This is the same thing they did with the Patriot Act. Oh, if you don't want the Patriot Act, you're a terrorist. Now, guess what? They're using the Patriot Act against you. Get it? Oh, we're fighting Al-Qaeda. Give away your freedom. Oh, guess who they're fighting in America now? You're the new domestic terrorist. They think Trump supporters are terrorists and right-wingers are terrorists. So now this is the same thing that Republicans said in 2001. Oh, what do you support, Al-Qaeda? No, dummies. Excuse my language. They're going to use it against you. Do I support Hamas? No, but this is not for Hamas. Oh, it's just Hamas. No, read the legislation. It's not just for Hamas. How come it's not one line? Let's stop Hamas. Because it's not about Hamas. They're using that as a straw man tactic. Oh, anybody who stands up for the First Amendment must support Hamas. I don't give a shit about Hamas. No offense. I just don't. Someone said you started the slippery slope argument. This is the slippery slope. The First Amendment has already been infringed on by both parties. The slippery slope is gone. Why do you think you don't have your freedom anymore to say certain things? Because both parties don't give a shit. They just pretend to. I'm just going to read real quick some of the things that it does. Critics say this order is really targeting the criticism of Israel. This is not protecting Judaism under civil rights law. This is using Jews and Judaism as a shield to go after Palestinians and anti-authoritarian professors and student activists. I mean, if you can't protest a foreign country on a college campus, you don't have the First Amendment. Someone said, everything you said so far rings true with me. I'm a Trump supporter, but it isn't perfect. What's a straw man tactic? A straw man tactic is when you can't beat the argument that someone says, so you make up a fake argument and fight the argument. So for instance, if I say, this is the law, this is why I disagree with it. If you say, oh, you support Hamas, that's a straw man argument because I never said that. I don't support them. But you can't beat my argument, so you make a fake argument that makes you look like a good person, and you fight the straw man. Get it? It's a straw man. Oh, I'm winning the argument. I never said that. So it's a fake thing. But this is what conservatives use in order to do that. All of the conservatives say, "Oh, it's started by Hamas. They're the only ones doing it." It's like, no, they said this in the 2000s. We're fighting Al-Qaeda. Give us your freedom. Now they're using it against you. First, they're going to use it against Hamas. Yeah, right. There's a huge presence in America. They could go against Hamas without using these legislations. They're using it, and then they're going to use it against you. Hold on. Let me just see real quick. Someone said, I get it. Anomaly. Unfortunately, what you're saying is current politicians, right and left, aren't following the Constitution as it stands. No, they're not. But people think that the Republican Party is fighting for their freedom when they're actually giving it away for a foreign country. I mean, I don't. And then I'm going to read this real quick. Abby Martin banned from speaking at a U.S. university for refusing to sign a pro-Israel pledge. So now they have a progressive lefty lady who I support her right for free speech. She was banned in 2020 from speaking at a U.S. university because she wouldn't sign a pro-U.S. Israel pledge. How are you a free country if you're not even allowed to speak at a college campus without pledging your allegiance to a foreign country? I don't care if you love Israel. I don't care if you're opposed to what they're doing in the Palestinian conflict. I don't care if you're opposed to Palestine. We don't have a First Amendment. If you're banned, Ben Shapiro gets banned from college campuses. I disagree with that. I don't even like Ben Shapiro, but he has the right to speak in his nasally voice at a college campus. And I don't even like Abby Martin that much, but she has the right to talk about Israel. But she doesn't have the right anymore because Trump made it illegal to do so, guys. This how I don't understand. Maybe I'm dumb for supporting the First Amendment. Is it Hamas? Your First Amendment's Hamas? I don't understand. It was George Washington Hamas. Oh, George Washington must have been Hamas. I mean, when he wrote, when John Hancock signed the Declaration of Independence, he must have been Hamas too, because he should have had foresight that in 250 years, liar Republicans and liar Democrats are going to pass speech laws under the guise of fighting hate to take away your freedom. Oh yeah, I bet Ben Franklin worked for Hamas too. No, they actually knew about shitty politicians that were going to come along under the guise of saving you and steal your freedoms on the left and the right. And that's what they've done. Julie Rose said, I adore you, sexy and smart. Thank you, Julie. Someone said, what's up with them trying to make everyone love Israel? I'm telling you what it is. I have supporters who love Israel. I have supporters who are critical of Israel. I have supporters who live in Israel. I have no hate in my heart for Israel. I'm going to preface it with that, not as a pander. It's just true. If I hated something, I tell you, I don't hate people. I don't hate countries. That's not what I do. I don't hate Palestine. I don't hate Israel. With that being said, if you want to listen, I could tell you why they're trying to make everyone love Israel. That's what the Republican Party does. They're all Zionists. They get a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, by people whose number one priority is to serve Israel. So if you give hundreds of millions of dollars to the Republican Party and your main agenda is to serve Israel, that's what you're going to do. It's the same reason if you give $100 million to the Democrats, they'll probably listen to you a little more than if you didn't have the money. So it's a combination of that. It's a combination of Christians. It's a biblical thing for a lot of Christians. They think if they serve a country that, probably, to be honest, doesn't care about them as much as their own country, that, the temple will be built and they're going to save the world. So there's a Christian perspective of it. There's also a Jewish perspective of it. There's a lot of Jewish people who love Israel. So, if they spend money with the Republican Party, that's what they like. They want a good relationship between the two. So there's a lot of reasons that people are doing it, but when you infringe on the Constitution, I don't really care why you're doing it. These are the games that they play. So that's a longer conversation about why they're doing it and how they're doing it and the reasons. There's financial reasons. And if you say the financial reasons, they call you anti-Semitic. They say, oh my God, it's a conspiracy theory that there's Israel lobbyists. It's not a conspiracy theory. AIPAC, look up AIPAC. That's what they do. It's literally what they do. There's no hate. It's what they do. And also people like Sheldon Adelson, he's one of the biggest donors in GOP history. Look up videos of him. He'll tell you exactly what he cares about. Israel. Okay. So sure, other things too, but that's one of the main things he cares about. So if he gives a lot of money, you think that's not going to have an influence? So there's financial reasons, there's biblical reasons for certain people, religious reasons, there's moral reasons for certain people, there's ethical reasons, there's all sorts of reasons, but you're not allowed to talk about any of them because Trump and DeSantis are pushing things into law to make it illegal to talk about. So the reason I talk about it so much is because you're not going to be able to anymore because they're passing through a set of laws where eventually it's going to be illegal. And it already is illegal in other countries. And I want to give you an example before people cry about what I'm saying. Noam Chomsky used to defend people in America who question the Holocaust. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying Noam Chomsky, a left-wing Jewish professor, used to protect their freedom of speech because he said Goebbels or Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels of Nazi Germany, he only agreed with speech he agreed with. Stalin only agreed with speech he agreed with. If you're an American citizen and you believe in the freedom of speech, there's only two stances you can have. Either you agree with the speech of people you disagree with, or you don't agree with free speech. You can't just support free speech for people you agree with. And that's what both parties do now. The left calls it hate speech. The right calls you Hamas. If you don't support freedom of speech for those you disagree with, you don't support freedom of speech. That's the only two stances you can have. There is no Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Dennis Prager, Donald Trump, version of it. And DeSantis saying, I support free speech, just not anti-Israel free speech or anti-Semitic free speech. They don't support free speech. They're not telling you the truth. Anyway, was known forever. If you go to Germany, you will end up in jail if you question World War II. It's a crime, a punishable crime by jail to question World War II. There are Jewish people sitting in prison in Germany for speech, for questioning World War II as a Jew. I'm not saying I agree with what they say. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I know this Jewish woman who was questioning the narrative around World War II. She is sitting in prison right now, and she's a Jew because it's not legal to speak freely in Germany. You can get arrested in the UK for speech or get fined in the UK. They don't have the First Amendment. Most of the world envies America for having the First Amendment. So what I'm telling you is the Democrats don't give a shit about the First Amendment. Facebook, YouTube, Google don't give a shit about the First Amendment. And Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis and the Zionist Republican Party also don't give a shit about the First Amendment. I know it's tough to take in, but you're going to figure it out when you don't live in a free country anymore. And it's already happening, but it's not just happening because the liberals are so bad. It's happening because the Republicans are putting on an act telling you they're standing up for the First Amendment as they're writing bills and executive orders, giving up your First Amendment. So if you want to know what it's like to live in Germany, you'll find out at a certain point what it's like to get arrested and sent to jail for saying something, because that's what happens in Germany. And in America, they start with the most unlikable speech. Why do you think they do that? Because it's an in. It's like a Me Too thing. It's like, let's start with this, and then we'll take over the right to a fair trial. Okay, we'll start with Cosby, we'll start with Kavanaugh, and then we'll get to shop, and then we'll brainwash people into thinking it's okay to make somebody guilty before the court case even ends. Someone says, so we're fucked? I'm not saying we're fucked. It's up to, if people care about this, it wouldn't happen. But people get mad when I say it. So no, it's not the end of the world. This is a misnomer. It's not the end of the world if your favorite people in politics don't do what you think they're doing. It's not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal if everybody just wants to worship them and they hate hearing that it's happening. Then you're done. But if you actually care, it's very easy. The solution is caring enough to just stop blindly worshiping and ignoring it. That's it. So in America, they're going to start like they did on Facebook. If you deny the Holocaust, if you do this, oh my God. And then they say, if you're this person, if you're this, and that's what they're doing in law. When Ron DeSantis and Trump pass these laws, they're going to start with things that you agree with. Oh my God, it must be Hamas or Nazis who are saying that. Well, what do you think happens when they put it in? You can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this. Read the laws. Read the anti-Semitism laws. They're on the State Department website. It's going to grow and grow and grow, and then they get into hate speech. One of the most fraudulent things that they did last year, and this was one of the most BS things. Hear me out, please. When Ilhan Omar was crying about, Jewish and Israeli influence in politics, and they cried and called it anti-Semitic, they passed this condemnation bill. And all the Republicans supported it. Ilhan Omar is such a bad person. We need to pass a speech bill to let her know not to speak. Oh, yeah, that's so Republican. Shut up, Ilhan Omar. Just tell her to shut up. You don't have to pass a bill. Anyway, they passed this stupid condemnation thing in Congress. And by the time it was done, Democrats and other people, they added all sorts of stuff to it. So first it was condemning anti-Semitism of Ilhan Omar. And then it was condemning anti-racism. And then it was condemning anti-sexism. And then it was condemning anti-xenophobia. And then it was condemning anti-LGBT. And by the time this shit got to where it needed to be, it wasn't an anti-Semitism bill. It was anti-sexist, it was anti-everything except for white, Christian, conservative. I mean, they added everything to it. And there's a lesson there. That's why they do it. They do it for something that you don't agree with or you do agree with. And then they add and add and add and add. And that's why people are just supposed to support the Constitution. I don't have to agree with Ilhan Omar, but I don't need to pass a freaking bill or a condemnation House legislation to shut her up. That's bullshit. That's who the Republicans are. They are bullshit artists, phony frauds, and that's why they can't protect your First Amendment, because they're not even trying. You need it back. they're giving it up. So there's a lesson to be learned there. They use people you don't like Hamas and Ilhan Omar, to pass anti-free speech legislation. And by the time it gets to the House floor, it's not just for anti-Semitism. It's got all this bullshit about anti-this, anti-that, anti-this. It's just an anti-conservative free speech bill. That's what they're doing. I know people don't want to hear it. I'm not on Adderall. Coffee I drink. I don't take Adderall. So there's a reason I'm telling people this. This is not popular to say. There's no money in what I'm saying. The money's on the other side, just to be quite fair. But I'm saying this because I want people. Someone said, show us. I have a whole video from last year. No one wanted to watch it. I'll tell you. Go to the State Department website. Do you want me to read this? Because these are the laws. I'll read them for you. You can do it to yourself. I don't have a paper in front of me. Go to the State Department website and read the anti-Semitism laws. It says defining anti-Semitism. Ready? I'm on the State Department website. Ready? I'm going to read it for you. Defining anti-Semitism. If you scroll to the bottom, it says anti-Semitic acts are criminal when they are so defined by laws. For example, denial of the Holocaust or distribution of anti-Semitic materials in some countries. Criminal acts are anti-Semitic when the target of attacks, whether people or property, such as buildings, schools, or place of worship, are anti-Semitic discrimination is the denial of Jews of opportunity of services. So anyway, they're bragging on here that anti-Semitic acts are criminal, including speech events in a certain country. And these are the type of laws they're pushing it here. So there's a list of 10 laws, and these are pretty much, they're all over the place. Every bill that Ron DeSantis, Trump passes, they stick to these laws. I mean, some people call them the Noahide laws. I don't know much about that, but in general, here's one of them. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews, such as the power of Jews as a collective, such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a Jewish conspiracy of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or societal institutions. So that same wording was passed into law by Ron DeSantis, saying, it's now going to be illegal in schools to make the dehumanizing claim that Jewish people control the media or the economy. Hopefully you guys don't have Wikipedia, because if with a simple Wikipedia search, you can look up who the CEOs are and who owns what company. So this idea now that Jewish people have any control over the media is not only anti-Semitic speech, it's a law passed into law by Republicans. I don't know. I wish I didn't have a brain in a Wikipedia, because I can easily look up what ethnicity most of the CEOs in Hollywood and the media are. But I can't say it anymore because that's anti-Semitic. You're not allowed to talk about control over economy, government, or societal institutions. So, any sort of speech about that is now illegal in a school in Florida. It's now illegal on a college campus, thanks to Trump and his executive order. Who does that protect? Does that protect your Jewish friend? Oh, no, it doesn't. Does that protect the deli owner that you like down the street? Oh, no, they don't give a shit about the deli owner. Does that protect 99% of Jewish people in America? Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Who does that protect? People who own the media. People like Zuckerberg or Susan Wojcicki or Jeff Zucker of CNN. If you don't own a media company, that law doesn't apply to you. But if you own a media company, that law protects you. So Trump is passing bills and laws and orders for these people that he claims to be fighting. He's passing speech laws for them. So it does. I mean, there's 10 different laws just like that, but it doesn't make you a hateful person to support the First Amendment. You're going to figure out when it's all said and done, these laws are being passed so you can't speak the truth. So you can't say what's really happening. So you can't question certain people. They're going to hide behind the guise of hate speech to protect their company or their corporation or their agenda. There is no thing to say, and they've done this with crime as well. So they're pushing Black Lives Matter. They're pushing liberalism. They're pushing, this narrative that white people are the biggest terrorists and, Black people are victims and everybody hates. Oh my God, everything is done by white people. That's the media. But if you were to say, a perspective that goes against it, well, that's hate speech. You know, they can say whatever they want about white people. I don't care. It doesn't really bother me. Am I allowed to read crime statistics? No, you can't. Am I allowed to read media ownership statistics? No, that's now illegal. So what are you going to be able to say? This is designed so their agenda runs scot-free. It's pumped on the NBA. It's pumped on, it's all over the place. They're shoving their agenda down your throat, like critical race theory and all this other stuff that they're claiming is so helpful, but it's really, in my opinion, not. And in order to defend yourself, you would need to say something in response. You're not allowed to anymore. And not just because it's socially taboo, it's being passed into law. It's being passed into law. Did I notice Lauren Southern's return? I follow her on Twitter, but I haven't been following. If you support the First Amendment, you got to read the anti-Semitism laws being passed into legislation. If not, it's fine. I'm going to read this. Someone said, last one, I promise. I support my Boo Anomalies base AF. Thank you, Julia. ZM said, the problem is people's values change. The First Amendment doesn't mean anything without values. Just get a country that uses Facebook no matter how they censor. Facebook is free to do what it wants. It's our duty to switch platforms. I hear you, but I mean, if you have a base of people, Rumble has these same anti-Semitism type situations. They have restrictions too. I mean, what you could go to Rumble, but they're playing along as well. I mean, they're better than Facebook, but eventually probably not really. Someone said CRT aligns with China. Well, China's not stupid. So China is nationalistic. China is making their men stronger. China is not multi-ethnic, and China does not treat their minority groups well at all. I would say way worse than America. China doesn't play any of this stuff, not socially, not racially. China is trying to make their country stronger. And I don't like China. I'm just saying they push this stuff in America because they know it weakens us. If you have racial fighting, if you have conflict, if you have, your mainstream education system and your mainstream media hate your country. I mean, it's not a stretch to say that the biggest media sources in our country hate our country. It's not normal. Even in Sweden and Germany, I mean, they did a poll. They said, do you trust your media? Americans trust their media less. It's not random. The media hates our country. In Sweden, they all love the soccer team. In Germany, they all love the soccer team. They all love their country. They all love nationalism. Even though they're liberal, they still love to rally behind their people. In America, you have people in the Olympics who don't even like our flag anymore. So, yeah, of course, China likes this stuff because they're pushing the destruction of America, the destruction of our Constitution. It's a social trick to make us weaker, dumber, and more self-hateful. And if you don't have a group of people who likes the country, it's easy to take advantage of. We're easy to take advantage of. We don't even like ourselves. It's like being in a fight, but instead of fighting the other people, you're punching yourself in the face so hard to the point where like you're not even thinking straight. What's about the new Getter app? I've heard it's good. There's a lot of people on it, but I also heard something about some sort of China funding, and I got to look into it. But it seems interesting, but I'm not rushing into it. I gotta research more. Someone said exactly, social engineering, self-destruction, for sure. But I'm just trying to tell people in general, and this is maybe the point I'm trying to get to and what I was saying earlier. On the right wing, there's certain gatekeepers where their job is to stand there, can serve nothing, sell out the Constitution, just run you in circles about AOC and all this other crap as they don't do anything. And when somebody comes along like myself or others who actually realizes that they're not protecting the First Amendment, they start calling people names, and try. So, and it's not just influencers, it's also people in the base. People don't want to hear this stuff. So it's like, this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, you think these people are trying to save the country, but they're really just standing there pretending to, while they become more liberal and they become less constitutional. So it's a two-way street. It's like, yes, you got to oppose the left wing, but if your side's not doing what you think that they're doing, and I know that they're not doing, you're not going to win. The win comes when you stand up to your side and say, no, I don't agree with that. And then they'll have to listen. I mean, there's power in numbers. There's power in fundraising. People fundraise. If these people don't get money from you and these people don't get your vote, it's not going to be that easy for them to do that stuff. Someone said, LOL, you were the first one to make me think how talking about total nonsense while China is super focused. Oh, yeah, all this. I mean, you got Republicans fighting about Juneteenth and stuff. Oh, it's good. It's bad. I can make an argument for why I think it's a trap. But yeah, this stuff doesn't matter. Oh no, you're the real racist on the right because you don't support Juneteenth. You have conservatives making that talking point. Of course, that's a trap. Thank you, Dodge. Albert said, you know a traitor when you see one, anomaly, you stand out. Well, you should calm down, Albert. But in general, what part of what I'm saying, Albert, since you're calling me a traitor, which is a bold claim, what part of my First Amendment stance bothers you? Let me know. What part? Because I support the freedom of speech or protest, and when both parties are selling it out, it's unsustainable. When both parties print trillions of dollars, it's unsustainable. When both parties claim to be fighting the deep state and then they lock down and pump a vaccine that Bill Gates and Fauci support, I think it's unsustainable. So tell me without calling me a traitor, what part of what I said bothers you? Is it my First Amendment stance? Is it my constitutional stance? Is it my pro-free market stance? Is it my anti-communism stance? Which part of what I said bothers you? Because do you not like the First Amendment? Do you think the First Amendment should be infringed upon for a foreign country? You think the First Amendment shouldn't be absolute, that there's hate speech if the right wing thinks there's hate? What part of what I said bothers you? I'm just curious. I'll give you the floor, because calling me a traitor is a big word. And you haven't even said what part of what I said bothers you. What part? Albert, let me know. You got the floor for a minute. Which part of what I said bothers you? I'll give him a few minutes. People say all these strawmans. Who paid you off? Who paid me to support the content? Make a point. Make something that makes sense. Someone said, super chat real quick. SX said, at this point, I'm just waiting for China or other nation to invade us. We fight amongst ourselves over the most dumb things. I guess we got to need. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. Someone said, haha, we know who's filling Albert's pockets. I don't think anyone's paying him. People just can't fathom the fact that their side is not really fighting for free speech. I vote Republican. I just know what they're doing. You know, where I'm at, the Republican who runs my area, he's so Republican, right? Oh my God, he's the best. Everyone likes him. He's cozying up to the people who are doing a digital vaccine passport in my county. So am I supposed to not notice that he's doing that? I voted for him. I vote Republican, but he's not really standing up against the vaccine passport. He's cozied up with the people in town who are against it. Albert said, sometimes it's better to remain silent. I'm not against your stance on the First Amendment. You called me a traitor, Albert. You already weren't silent, so now you might as well talk. What part of what I said bothered you? Let me know. If you're not mad at my what part of what I said, please tell me, because I've been talking for a long time. Which part made you think I was a traitor? I don't even think you know, because nothing I said even, it's like, you're a Democrat. It's like, I voted for the Republican in my city. But I see him on Instagram commenting like, to the guys who are passing a digital vaccine passport. It's like with Trump. Listen, you think I don't know about Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson? Who supports vaccines more than anybody in the world? Is it Bill Gates who funds them? Is it Fauci at the NIH who owns a joint patent of Moderna? Who's selling the vaccines that the National Institute of Health owns part of? Trump. Am I not supposed to notice that? Does that bother you, Albert? I'm a turncoat or a traitor for noticing you think you're fighting the globalist Bill Gates as Trump sells the vaccines that he funded? Oh yeah, you're really fighting the deep state. Oh yeah, the only way to fight Moderna and Pfizer is to fund Pfizer and Moderna. It's like the left. They're anti-corporation. We're against the corrupt corporations. Every corporation except for every corporation except for the pharmacy industry. Oh, we're against the corporation. Did you miss a certain corporation? Because you guys love Pfizer and Moderna more than you drink water. It's like, oh yeah, you're really fighting the system. It's like, yeah, they bend over backwards. Like, if you don't get the Pfizer, I thought you guys were anti-corporation. I hate corporations. Pfizer. I trust Pfizer. I love Pfizer. It's like, that's fine. You love Pfizer. It's just a little weird that someone said some things are by design and should be left alone. You're speaking in codes now, bro. Just like, what do you mean? What are you saying? I would rather live on my feet, brother. I'm not bowing. Some things should be left alone. Yeah, the Constitution should be left alone. So if Trump, DeSantis, Zuckerberg, Susan Wojcicki, if they infringe on the First Amendment, I think they should leave it alone. I agree with you. I'm supposed to just ignore it. I'm not a slave, Albert. While I'm alive, I'm a free man. Okay. So I support my freedom as long as I'm alive and able to. So if you want to leave it alone, you can, but what type of veiled message is that to me? Tell me what bothers you, Albert. You're veiling it, saying you shouldn't talk. Let me know. You called me a traitor. Someone said, Anomaly, I'm against the vaccine, warp speed, just like you. I know you are, bro, but you called me a traitor. Why did you call me a traitor? A traitor is at a certain point, a punishable crime, probably. So I don't use that language for other people. Why did you call me that? What part are you so mad at? You don't even know. So you're right. You should stay silent because your mouth is moving and you don't even know what you're saying, to the point where I've given you 3 minutes. You can't even say it. This is every argument against me. It's like, this is why they get away with it. This is why nothing happens. I don't see the benefit of just shutting my mouth. I mean, obviously there is some benefit to shutting up, but it's like, I don't think this country is going to be free for anyone if everyone lets this stuff happen. That's what I think. Jim said, I agree with you. I'm a free speech absolutist. Noam Chomsky, in my opinion, I don't agree with, but one of my favorite quotes, I quoted it even in my book, I'm going to say it again, there's only two stances you can have on free speech. You call yourself an absolutist, and I am too, but it's like, either you support free speech or you don't. There is no in between. If you support speech for only people you agree with, you don't support free speech. So you're an absolutist and I'm an absolutist. Yeah. If you don't support speech, if you think talking against Israel relates you to Hamas, or you think saying something about black people makes you a racist, or you think saying something about Christians then you don't believe in free speech. There is no, you can speak freely. You just can't talk about race, gender, sex, politics, this person, that person, this country, that. If you can't talk about Saudi Arabia, you're not free. If you can't talk about Canada, you're not free. If you're an American citizen and you can't talk about China, you don't have free speech. If you're an American citizen and you can't talk about Israel on a college campus, you don't have the First Amendment. So I'm not like this crazy extremist, and neither are you. You can't possibly support the freedom of speech if you only support it for political views that you agree with. And I know people don't want to hear it, but that's both sides of politics. I'm telling you. I've seen it happen, and I don't want to call people out, but it's not just the left. They're the worst. What aren't they the worst at this point? I'm not sure. But the right, it's filled with people who only agree with things they agree with for the most part. And there's certain things that they will call anti-Semitic. And I've seen them call things racist and homophobic. It's like, you guys don't want to talk about this stuff and you're passing laws that people can't say it. It's like, you make a point without using those words. It's like, make the point. They can't, so they have to use those words. So there can only be two free speech stances. Someone said you're literally just stating facts. Some people can't, and that's why we're losing it, though. You get what they call it the Overton window. If you can make the right wing turn into the left wing, and the left wing has moved. I don't even know what the left wing is anymore. They don't make any sense. It's really sad, to be honest. And the right wing is, that's the game. So it's like, okay, you could win an election, but you're still going to get Operation Warp Speed. You could win an election, you're still going to get a lockdown. You could win an election, but you're not going to win the next election. It's like, that's the Overton window. The only way to beat it peacefully, respectfully, there is no conspiracy theory. You just have to identify it and calmly and peacefully call it out. If Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and Ben Shapiro, if their audiences, 90% of their audiences said, hey, we like you, we support you, but we see what you're doing with this anti-Semitism stuff where you're claiming your free speech, they're passing laws, you support it. One of the biggest smear tactics that they use, I think Laura Loomer, the Shapiro types, I like Laura Loomer a lot. She's a friend. I would consider a friend. But they try to make the argument that these anti-Semitism protest laws are, Hamas. It's Hamas. It's Hamas. I get what they're saying. I'm sure there are people who are affiliated to something that's affiliated with Hamas, but these are the same tactics they're using against you. Well, you know that person and you know that person. He's at the Capitol. So now you get a phone call from the FBI. Well, we're going to use the Patriot Act because you are a domestic terrorist. This is how they do it. They relate you to a group and relate them to a group. It's like, if the First Amendment means you're Hamas, we don't have a First Amendment. I don't even understand that. It's like, well, the BDS protesters are Hamas. It's like, so Abby Martin can't go and speak on a college campus because of Hamas? No, that's just an excuse to take away somebody's First Amendment right. Someone said the First Amendment does not protect threats or slander. Anyone who feels that happened. I hear you about threats and slander. I feel you, but I'm just saying, if you say that a certain ethnic group controls the media, when by factual definition, a majority of media companies are owned by that ethnic group, is that slander? Is that a threat? It's not a threat. It's, in my opinion, a factual statement. So they're making a fact illegal. Does that mean you have to hate everybody? No. Does that mean everyone's in on it? Of course not. But DeSantis is not making slander and libel illegal. The First Amendment, if a threat is illegal, and I'll tell you what, this is another trick with hate crime. A crime is a crime. A violent crime is a violent crime. A hate crime, what does that mean? It means you go to jail for burning an LGBT flag, but you don't go to jail for burning an American flag. This is all just bullshit to take away your freedom and throw people in jail for doing stuff that they normally could do. So it's like all these words, it's like, it's already, you don't need a new law to protect somebody against a threat. If a threat is illegal, it's illegal for a Jew, it's illegal for a Christian, it's illegal for a Muslim. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. If a threat's illegal, a threat's illegal. There is no special law for it. If slander is illegal, then you take somebody to court for slander. You don't need an anti-Semitism law that says you can't say that there's a powerful group controlling the media. That's not protecting them from slander or threats. They already had that protection. And it's the same way as they charge somebody for a hate crime. A crime is a crime. I'm sorry. It's like, if it's a free speech, it's free speech. If it's a violent crime, it's a violent crime. If you're attacking somebody due to their race, put them on trial and say, this person's a psychopath who violently attacked me, and charge him for that crime. They're weeding these hate crimes into law to overcharge you for doing something that normally you would be legally allowed to do, or for overcharging somebody for something that would have been a misdemeanor offense. I don't like hate, but it's like, this is how they're doing it. It's like, you don't need a special law. What happens if somebody attacks me because of my skin color? Is it going to be a hate crime? It should just be a crime. It's just like, that's illegal. You can't attack somebody. If you're hateful, go see a psychiatrist. It's like, these are tricks that they use, just like the Me Too movement. There are rapists out there. There are terrible men out there, but they were trying to condition people. This person's guilty. He doesn't have a right to a fair trial, whether it's Cosby, Kavanaugh, whoever the next person is, Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin was guilty before the court case happened. There was no way they were going to allow this guy to be innocent. Didn't matter what the evidence said or the footage said. It was done. It was over. People knew, riots in the streets, burning, people were being threatened. You could say that's justice for George Floyd, or you could look at it objectively and realize that, it was being used to say, well, now the media and now activist groups have the power to overturn the courts, and this, you could say they always use it for an event. Well, I agree with the ruling. Well, they'll use something that you agree with so they can do it with the next person. And now, you see people like Jimmy Dore. They're trying to Me Too him with something that happened 7 years ago. Why? Because it's an effective way to destroy your opponent. Well, I can't beat the content of Jimmy Dore's argument, so I'm going to call him a rapist or a sexual predator from something he did 7 years ago that I haven't cared about since. They don't really care about sexual assault. They want to destroy this man's life, and they can't figure out how to do it legally or ethically. So they bring that. That's what that stuff is. So, this hate speech, this stuff, a crime is a crime. I don't agree with any speech laws, speech rules. Like, if you question history, you go to jail in Germany. Do you think, to me, that's crazy? Like, they question history all the time. They inaccurately talk about history all the time. We could talk about Native Americans and people sailing to this country. But if you read, there was some Lakota guy that said, oh my God, these people stole the land. And I think at a certain point it's true. But the Lakotas stole it from other tribes. They kicked other tribes out. So we can have an ethical and moral argument about who killed less people or who did stuff. But all of this manipulation of history is all aimed in one direction. They're saying your race did everything ever and our races did nothing. Do you think there weren't Arabs involved in the slave trade? There were. And in many places there still are. Do you think there weren't black people involved in the slave trade? There were. And there still are in other countries. You think there weren't Jewish people involved in the slave trade and other ethnicities in the slave trade? You think Asians never got involved in the slave trade? No, they're manipulating history to hurt people in the present and say, everything's your fault, dehumanize you, make you feel like shit. And if you counter it, now it's a crime or a hate speech offense to accurately point out that somebody else is doing something. So, it's the same as every culture. There was bloodshed, there was conquering, there was fighting, there was stealing land. This is not exclusive. It's just at a certain point, this is what America became. And it won't be this way forever because it's being conquered, I believe, right now. So, these are the games that they play for all. If you could say this about my religion, I can't say it about your religion. You could talk about my race, but it's a hate speech offense if I talk about your race. This is what they're doing to us. And it's a both party operation. Ron DeSantis passed a religion bill, but it didn't include any religions, only one religion. That's not even a religion. So it's not a religion bill. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if it's from left wing or right wing. This is all manipulation to rig society against freedom, free speech, and a real discussion. I don't have hate in my heart for any ethnicity or any group of people, but I do find it very hypocritical when a few groups of people have immunity from criticism, immunity from self-accountability, immunity from any responsibility in history at all. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but there's two ethnic groups of people who they want me to believe they have never done anything wrong in the history of the world ever. They are just the greatest innocent victims of all time, and everybody else always just did bad things to them at all times. There's two groups that have this narrative, and to be quite frank, I don't agree with it at all because it's not accurate. It's like there's no self-accountability, there's no self-awareness, and when you don't have that, they're going to repeat history again. History repeats itself because these people are making the same mistakes over and over and over again. I'll give you one example. All the people who cried about Kanye West, he said slavery was a choice. A lot of people cried about it, especially in the black community. A lot of liberals complained about it. Kanye's so ignorant. Slavery was not a choice. Slavery was bad, and it was white people, blah, blah, blah. Who's supporting lockdowns? Who's supporting mask mandates? Who's supporting quarantines? Who's supporting forced injections for Pfizer and Moderna? Who's supporting the demise of black neighborhoods and the collapse of black neighborhoods, not only crime-wise, but you can't run a business? If it's a hard black neighborhood, you think it's going to be easier when they can't go to a gym or can't go to work? They took jobs away from millions of black people during the lockdown. Who supported that? Liberals and black activists. So that's what Kanye West was saying. You guys cry about history. You guys cry about slavery of the past so much, and you're the ones ushering in slavery of the future. You're the ones who are silent on the Libyan slave trade, which Obama and Hillary Clinton did, because Obama's a black guy. But, his foreign policy with Hillary Clinton there, ended up killing Muammar Gaddafi and leaving a slave trade with rebels or whatever, and it turned into slavery. So there's something to be said. The people who talk and cry about slavery of the past the most are the ones who are ushering in slavery of the present moment. I'm just saying. And it's the same with there's people who want you to believe that everything is a hate speech, hate crime, anti-Semitic because throughout history they've been persecuted and they've never done anything wrong ever. It's like, if you want to believe that, that's fine, but I don't believe my ethnicity is perfect. I don't believe that my religion's perfect. I think there were good times. I think there were bad times. I think there were good leaders. I think there were bad leaders. I think there were mistakes, and I think there were sins. And I'm supposed to look at another ethnic group and think that they were the victim throughout society and they've never done anything wrong. It's not true. And those same people are the ones who are repeating the same sins and the same mistakes and the same overreaches that in turn will screw up society for an 100th time. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? I take full accountability for America, for ethnic groups, for religion, but I'm supposed to believe that black and Jewish people never did anything wrong ever, and everything against them is a hate crime and an illegal offense that you can't even say. This is why history is repeating itself, because if you look at voting patterns, those two ethnic groups vote for Democrats. The most. Look up the voting patterns of those two ethnic groups. They vote for Democrats, and Democrats lock down. And in countries like Germany and Israel, they're doing lockdowns and forced vaccination segregation. Like, does that not remind you of something? Oh no, you can't say it. No, that's a hate speech offense. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to go on an apology tour. I'm not comparing it to that event, but what I am saying is, at a certain point, if you look at certain things and you look at, the people who are taking away our freedom and liberty today, it just happens to be a lot of the same people who cry about the past the most. So there's something to be said about taking no accountability, having no self-awareness, and trying to censor everybody on the planet from saying anything. You could talk about my religion. You could talk about my past. You could talk about, my ancestors. I don't care. I'm not going to call you a hate monger or something, but it's not mutual. You don't have the right to talk about that. You can't. They'll call you a racist. They'll call you an anti-Semite. They'll call you a sexist. And whether it's Facebook, Google, and YouTube and Twitter, who are passing their own speech laws to stop you from saying it, so are the Republicans in law, and so are the Democrats in law. It's not to make us exist. It's not to save the lives of Jewish people or Black people. It's to control society, so you're not allowed to question their agenda. And unfortunately, for the people who vote Democrat, their agenda is lockdowns. Look at all the countries that are more liberal than America. They're in a perpetual state of lockdown. What is lockdown? If someone says you can't leave your house, you can't go here, you can't go here, you're a peasant. You're a second-tier citizen. Every freedom that our ancestors fought for, regardless of your race, we lost those under the guise of public health. Oh yeah, that's really healthy. Keep me inside so much. Oh yeah, that's really healthy. Shut down my gym. Oh yeah, that's really healthy. Take away my restaurant. Oh yeah, that's not healthy. That's unhealthy. So, they're doing all this manipulation of the past and censorship. It's not to help Jewish or Black people or white people or liberal or Asians. It's all to take money, take tax money, take freedom, and guilt you into apologizing for saying it. It's like Rachel Nichols. She said something on the phone recently. I don't know who recorded her, but she was saying, I guess maybe it was a Black woman who was like, they were trying to replace Rachel Nichols and do something. And she was basically standing up for herself. She's like, I worked here. I've faced discrimination as a woman. She was basically making the point, like, I don't want to lose my job, not based on merit. Like, you guys are trying to do all this stuff, probably with the diversity stuff. She was upset because she's a woman. And she was like, if this is the right thing to do, then do it. But if you're just doing it to do it, to virtue signal or whatever, she was like, yeah, I don't agree with it. And she came out and apologized. She's not sorry because what she said was true. I mean, maybe she is sorry because she doesn't want to seem like a racist, but there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself. There's nothing wrong with opposing somebody taking your stuff, not based on merit, but based on virtue signaling or based on race. There's nothing wrong if you're Black and do that. There's nothing wrong if you're white and do that. So it's like they got people apologizing. Marjorie Taylor Greene went on an apology tour, at a Holocaust memorial when she's not anti-Semitic, because she said that this reminds her, or the masks remind her of World War II. I mean, maybe not the smartest thing to say and word it that way, and I don't remember exactly how she said, but if you look at whether it's Hitler or Stalin or Mao, I'm not saying you should call everybody a Nazi or call everyone Hitler because that's what the left does, but, this stuff didn't start with one thing. It's like, how did Mao kill tens of millions of people? Through starvation. So if inflation goes through the roof and millions of people starve, but you're not allowed to compare what happened to Mao, and then it happens in 3 years, it doesn't make you a moral person. Oh, I stopped them from comparing this to Mao Zedong. Well, maybe they were trying to get ahead of it and say that just the same way the left calls everybody a Nazi all the time. I don't agree with it, but they have the First Amendment right to try to draw a correlation between Trump and a historical figure. I don't think they're right. I think they're wrong, but I'm not going to pass a speech law against that. So you get what I'm saying? They're trying to guilt people into submission and apologies. Gina Carano, they took away her job from comparing what was happening to World War II. It's not exactly the same. Obviously, as many people aren't dying, it's not as gruesome, but it does seem like it's going down the path of, I would say human slavery. If you don't have the freedom to do anything, you're not free anymore. I mean, it's straight up slavery. If you can't run your business, if you can't get a restaurant, if they try to do a Delta variant and a climate change lockdown, these are just lingo terms for using the environment and using public health to take away freedoms from sovereign individual and turn them into slaves. I'm not going to disrespect Jewish people or black people and compare it to those specific events completely because it's totally different. But at the same time, it is your right to say that this is not the right path. And if you want to compare it to an event, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but they want to make everyone apologize. It's not right. And I'm not ever going to apologize because I'm not sorry. Someone says Stalin likes to take notes. If you read some of these genocidal events and you read some of these, communist events, Mao Zedong killed tens of millions of people with the Great Leap Forward. He wasn't out just murdering people in the streets. That's not what Mao Zedong was doing all the time. It was starvation. How did he starve people? Read a history book or try to find an accurate one. It's okay to try to get ahead of what's going on. I don't want to starve, but I'm a little nervous when the same guy pushing lockdowns is buying up farmland and, pushing a genetically modified product and taking away meat. That's a little weird. I don't have to agree with that. If I wanted to compare that to the possible long-term effects on the food industry, you're allowed to do that, but you get it. April Wine said, thanks for the facts. I enjoy listening to you anytime over mainstream media or Fox. God bless. Much love and prayers to you. Thank you, April, so much. I appreciate you. Let's end it. Let's end it on a good note. Someone said, I will not apologize for being American. No, you shouldn't. You should never apologize for being American. You should never apologize for speaking freely. And certainly you should never apologize for defending the First Amendment, because it's like, in a weird way too, it's like if Marjorie Taylor Greene or Gina Carano or Roseanne or anybody, whatever you want to say, if you make them apologize or you take away their stuff, you're not proving them wrong, in the sense of like, you're not like, oh yeah, we're not authoritarians, we're not communists, we're not fascists, whatever, but we're just going to take your shit and close your bank account and threaten you and take away your social media and make it so you can't work here anymore. I mean, it's not the same as World War II, but you definitely are weirding people out with societal closure. And in my opinion, when you closed millions of businesses, you deserve scrutiny. I don't know that I would compare it to a certain specific event, but it's seeming very communist in my opinion. Richard said Tomorrow War is a good movie. D. Shay said, did this guy even finish high school? I did finish high school. Thank you. What part did you not like, D. Shay? Someone said, control the food, control the people. Totally. And I mean, that it seems like they're trying to do that. So there's nothing wrong with speculating. I don't know. It just I'm going to leave in a second, but it just disappoints me when they treat Gina Carano like that, or they treat even Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, how come they can compare Trump to a Nazi and then she says it and she has to go on a Holocaust memorial tour? I'm not saying what she said is right, because to be honest, I don't even know exactly what she said, but how many times have they compared Trump to Hitler and Trump supporters to Hitler and made Nazi propaganda movies saying Trump supporters are the real Nazis, blah, 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 making these sicko perverted movies where they're killing a bunch of conservatives? I mean, that's okay. It's like people need to stop apologizing unless you're really sorry. If you're sorry, then apologize. But I don't understand why they're allowed to compare everybody to Nazis a million times and make really dumb comparisons. And then you compare the lockdowns to World War II, and all of a sudden now you're the enemy. It's like, okay, what about when they've compared, you have a group that compared the border to concentration camps. It's like, what? You think border security is equivalent to concentration camps? It's not even remotely the same. In Germany, the whole idea, that people are saying is, well, we were stuck in camps and we couldn't get out of them. We couldn't get out. And then in Mexico, they're trying to get in to the camp. They're trying to get into the country. So that would be like Jewish people escaping, trying to go into Germany. Like there's these concentration camps in Germany, and Jewish people are running across the border trying to get in. That's what the border security is like. If they are concentration camps at our border, why are so many people running into them? Because they're not concentration camps. These people are lying. But I'm just saying, there's Jewish groups and other groups that are saying that the border is equivalent to concentration camps. A concentration camp that you run into? Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt there were millions of Jews running into Germany. oh, we're running in, but we didn't know they were going to put, it's like the border security in America is not a concentration camp. It's insane. It's insane that but the point I'm getting to is they say that, which is crazier than what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. There's no pressure. There's no apology. There's none of that. You say one thing and they're ready to destroy your whole life. It's shocking. To me, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like running in. Someone said no sound. Well, yeah, turn on the button. Someone said free speech is dying here in Canada. I don't know how to wake more people up. Well, that's the thing with American culture. I'm trying to help do my part. I could do better, I'm sure, but Canada doesn't have free speech. UK doesn't have free speech. We have free speech here. I don't want to lose it. I don't not want to lose it because I want to say mean things. I don't say mean things. I want the right to say the truth. And they start with something that sounds mean, and then you're done. So I love you, Canada. God bless you guys. I want to cling on to my free speech here, and I don't want to turn into Canada. No offense, but I don't. So, that's why I'm trying to wake people up on the right, because we're going to turn into Canada. And eventually in Canada, it doesn't matter who you vote for. You vote for Doug Ford, it doesn't matter. Doug Ford is a lockdown artist. He locks down harder than anybody. In UK, Boris Johnson was supposed to be the Trump. He locks down harder than anybody. At a certain point, Republicans are going to wake up like it was during the Mitt Romney era. And it's like it is already that way, but it's like, it doesn't matter who you vote for. There's a solution though. In Canada, they don't care enough. In the UK, enough people don't care. In America, we have 100 million patriots. We have 100 million plus patriots who do care, but they don't even know that it's happening. So when you tell them, they get pissed off and they're like, Anomaly's a traitor. It's like, no, we have the numbers here to peacefully. You don't even have to leave your house. Just start realizing it and just be like, nah, I don't agree with this. Someone said, dude, look into the Pawns game by William Carr. If you haven't already, God bless, brother. I'll check it out. Someone said Anomaly is way better and more truthful than Fox. Well, thank you. Thank you, Terry, again. I appreciate that. That's a cool punching guy, too. I love the little super effective super chat. April, thank you again. All right, I'm going to read the super chats on Facebook, and I'm going to take off. Always staying too long. I meant to leave. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, Matea. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Wiggy. Thank you, Andrew. Davina said, one of the best I've seen, Farbro. Well done. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, James. AK said, where's the straw hat with the birds? It's to the side. What's up, AK? Tasha said, sending love and blessings. Some of your viewers are so selfish. I don't always agree with you, especially with Trump, but you're a good guy. Thank you so much. I'm not trying to take personal shots at the guy. I feel like there's a pro and a con. The message, I know it always gets misconstrued, but I just want to be clear. It's the base who allows this stuff by making more excuses for him than actually standing up. Like, people don't want to hear it. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? If you want to follow somebody, you'll follow somebody. But, America was the land of the brave, or the home of the brave and the land of the free. We're not brave anymore, so we're not free anymore. And it's like, it's this radical right-wing stance. If you actually support the First Amendment, it's not Trump's fault. It's not DeSantis's fault. They're doing their job, but what they're doing is not exactly what you're doing. Doesn't mean you have to hate them. Doesn't mean you have to yell. Just, take a peaceful stand and just, rather than argue with me on my stream, you can, I don't care. How about you take that energy and oppose them? I'm not your public leader who's writing anti-First Amendment legislation. If I was, you should not like me too, or at least not support that. So that's all it is. It's like that. If that energy went to them, they would turn around in a second. They just don't have to, because their base loves it. If you love the fact or don't care about the fact that they're doing it, there is no stopping. Why would they? Someone said the bootleggers are defending a tyrant. Yeah, and just defending this idea that that's okay. If you think that that's okay, it's gonna. Angela said patriots are so soft. It's time to take a courageous stand. If you think it's okay to do socialism, if you think it's okay to print trillions of dollars, if you think it's okay to turn into a vaccine salesman, if you think it's okay to do all this stuff, then you're gonna get it. I don't know any other easier way to put it. It's like, I'm not blaming Trump, but if you think all that's fine and you think all that's the best that he can do, then that's the best you're going to get. Then why would you even pretend that you're going to be free? Because you think he's going to do something that he didn't do? Because you have this idea that if he gets back into power, he's going to do something that he failed to do the first time and he doesn't even care about now? Of course you're not going to get. I don't even understand what's so controversial about what I'm saying. It's like, if you like that and you make excuses for it, you're going to get it again. Like, people want that again. It's like, fool me once, fool me twice. People are like, no, the third time. It's like, guys, it's not a bad thing. You don't have to hate them, but it's like, you're okay with that? You make excuses for that? Then why wouldn't you get it? I really don't understand. It's like, it'll come back. Someone said conservatives that want freedom better wake up and stand strong, or we will be living in socialist America. It's already socialist. I mean, last year was pretty much the knockout blow for capitalism. I mean, capitalism died probably a while ago, but I would say under Trump, like, this country's not free anymore. If you can't even go on a cruise without getting a vaccination, if you can't fly without a mask, if your business can get shut down whenever the government says, like last year, this country's not free anymore. And the point I'm trying to get to is the message in the Republican Party needs to be like, never again. Like, not only never again, but the people who did that should be apologizing for doing it. To DeSantis's credit, he's the only Republican, not Trump, DeSantis, to his credit, he's the only Republican that has admitted it was a mistake the first time. Now with the data I have, I'd never do it again. Trump has never said that. You can pretend he said that. You could lie to yourself. You could cry about me. Trump has never said it's a mistake. He doesn't think it's a mistake. He won't admit it's a mistake. He brags about every aspect of what he did because he wants people to think he's the best and he never messed up. DeSantis was humble enough to say it was a mistake and I never would have done it again. And the data wasn't clear, but now I have the data. I would never lock down again. DeSantis passes speech laws. He does a few sneaky things. I trust him more than Trump for the sole factor that he admitted the truth about lockdowns. I can never trust Trump again because he has yet to admit that his lockdown was a mistake, because that would mean he'd have to self-reflect and say something. But to DeSantis's credit, he did do that. So I can't get behind. And then people cry, well, Anomaly just loves DeSantis now. He's a shill. I don't hate anybody, and I don't just blindly love everybody. I give credit where it's due. I told you what I disagree with DeSantis. I told you what I agreed with the DeSantis. I like the fact that he's humble enough to admit he would never do that again, and he probably shouldn't have done it the first time. I respect that more than the world. So I trust him more than Trump. Not with my whole life or anything. I'm not going to blindly, but that has to be the normal in the Republican Party. If someone else is not doing that, people should not like them that much to the point where they're like worshiping them and cheering for them. They need to know that that can't ever happen again. If people don't say that, why wouldn't it happen again? So that's what it is. This is a good comment. Stacey said, if Trump gets back in, it doesn't fix the ideology of the radical left. For sure. Another unpopular opinion that I've mentioned, but it's worth noting again, the country this month is more free than it was under Trump. I mean, it's not Biden's credit. I know all the deception and what's going on, but this idea that Trump is going to save everyone's life is part of the psyop. Even if he does his best job, you're damn right he's not going to stop the ideology. He's not really stopping anything. So it's going to, but conservatives get mad when you say that. It's like, he didn't stop the lockdown. He didn't stop the ideology. He couldn't stop critical race theory. He put in people that are now pushing it. It's not his fault, but conservatives don't even want to know that. They're like, Anomaly, shut up. We're going to vote for Trump. Then enjoy losing your country, because it's bigger than that. So even if he does his best and he does everything you want him to do, it's like, you're damn right he's not stopping that. It's going to take the conservative base actually caring enough to figure out how to strategically win on a bigger level. Someone said, oh, stop. No, I'm not stopping, Linda, because I'm not criticizing Trump. I'm just saying he didn't stop left-wing. He didn't stop any of this stuff. Under Biden, it's more open now than it was under Trump. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm not complimenting Biden. That's just what's going on. But this is what you get from conservatives. Oh, stop. Oh, stop. You don't want to fix the problem then. I get it. You want this to happen. You don't want to fix it. So conservatives, not all, So many people want to live vicariously through Trump. He's my hero. He'll save my life. I'm just going to sit here. And I'm not pointing out different. I'm not trying to point the finger, but of course, someone said he took an order against critical race theory. I'm talking about culturally. It's going to take more than whatever he did because it didn't work. I'm not blaming him. Just listen to what I'm saying, Linda, please. It's annoying. I'm not going to blame millennials, boomers, zoomers. I'm not putting the blame on anybody. We're all to blame. But the boomer generation let this all happen for 30 years, the decline into further liberalism. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, and now when people come along like myself and actually try to do something about it, you not only can't do anything about it, you complain about me like I'm the problem. Like, oh, no. It's like, you guys let the country get here for 40 years. I'm only 31 years old. Let me take a stand against communism. Let me take a stand for the First Amendment. Let me take a stand against socialism. Not only did you fail to do it for 40 years, not only do you not want to do it now, but you want to stop me from doing it. It's like, just stop. Trump said, Linda, just stop. Stop making excuses for the vaccine salesman. If you want to do that, go to another page. Who cares? I'm not just doing this. So it's like, it's not enough what he's doing. But people like Linda, no offense, Linda, God bless you. It's like their whole life is just supporting Trump. It's going to take more than Trump. That's not a diss. It's a compliment to conservatives. But how many patriots want to do something? Not that many. How many patriots want to sit on the couch and watch Fox News and think that Trump is the return of Jesus? Way too many. That's the problem. I'm not dissing Trump. I'm dissing us. It's us. It's going to take more than that. So it's like so many people that are in the boomer generation, they love the Q stuff because it makes them think that there's a magical wizard on planet Earth outside of their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that's going to save all their problems. Like they drop the ball in education. They drop the ball in the media. They drop the ball on everything, but we don't have to do anything about it. Trump is my new idol. It's so selfish. It's like, it was a great time, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. It was great. A lot of people got blindsided. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, but it's like, now it's time for the big boys and the big girls to face the problems in our country and actually try to reverse it. And it's so many of these boomers that are like, the military's in control. No, Linda, I'm not blaming you specifically, but I don't even know if you believe that. The military's not in control. We dropped the ball for 50 years, and now it's time to actually do something about it. It's not time to make excuses for Trump and watch, X-22 report for 2 years as the country declines further into socialism, and you think there's a secret magic wizard going to save your life. That's not going to work. In fact, that's going to destroy the country further. So, I don't care who likes it or not. I'm just saying this is how you beat it. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm just saying, if this statement bothers you, he wasn't going to stop all these things. He didn't stop all these things. He probably couldn't, even if he tried to stop these things, but I think he could have done a better job, whatever. If that hurts your feelings, then what do you want to conserve? You just want to sit and watch Fox News and act like Trump is Jesus Christ. He didn't stop critical race theory. He couldn't stop critical race theory, but he passed a bill and Biden overturned it. That's what I'm saying. He couldn't stop it. Did I blame him? It didn't work. Maybe he did his best and he couldn't stop it. It's not a diss. It's saying, so many Republicans don't want to stop. They just want to cry and make excuses for why it's happening. Oh, he tried his best. Well, his best wasn't good enough. So are we going to do something good enough, or are we just going to lose? They want to lose. And anytime someone comes along that doesn't want to lose, they cry. Why are you so mad at what I'm saying? I don't know you, but I'm just saying, I didn't say it's Trump's fault. I just said he fell short. He didn't do enough. I'm not saying he could have, or I'm just saying either one, you want to identify that it wasn't enough and figure out what is enough, or you don't. Someone said Linda has a right to her opinion. I'm not saying she doesn't have a right to her opinion. I'm just saying she's saying the same thing I'm saying. I'm saying it didn't work. She's saying it didn't work. I'm saying it didn't work. She's saying it didn't work, but getting mad at me for saying it. It didn't work. So either we make it work or we don't. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's going to take more than just him. That's a bad thing? Should I not say that? Oh no, it's not going to take, it's just going to take Trump. Just sit on the couch, eat Cheetos, watch Fox News, watch Judge Deneen scream at your face, watch Dan Bongino, and they're going to do it for you. Hopefully they do. I like Dan Bongino. I'm just saying, like, maybe it's going to take more than Trump. Maybe that's a crazy statement. Oh no, you're right. I'm wrong. He did everything he could. He did his best. He did it all. Put him back in office. He's going to save the world. I'll just sit here. I'll stop streaming. I'll sit in my chair and I'll just hoorah, 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 rah, rah, rah to Trump. I personally don't think that's going to work. And it's not a diss. It's just like, maybe more people have to do something. Maybe more people have to, there's a story on my Instagram. This chick who went to Yale, a mother, I don't know why I called her a chick, but she was going to Yale and they were forcing mandatory vaccinations. Guess what she did? She didn't worship Trump. She didn't trust the plan. She didn't cry on my Facebook. She got a lawyer. She stood up for herself with a kid, stood up for herself, and she won. And guess what? Now she doesn't have to follow those bullshit rules. She didn't trust the plan. She didn't worship Trump. She didn't make excuses for Operation Warp Speed. She didn't make excuses for critical race theory. She stood up for herself. She got a lawyer and she did it for herself. Imagine if, crazy thought here. Imagine if every Trump supporter did that. Guess what? The lockdown never would have happened for more than 2 weeks. Our country would not be failing to critical race theory. Communism would not be taking over. That's all it takes is people actually peacefully standing up for themselves, standing up for their community, and standing up for their country. That's what's the solution, Anomaly? You hate Trump so much. What's the solution? That's the solution. It's that simple. It's that easy. It's that peaceful. And it's not mean. If that bothers you, I'm convinced people like losing. I don't like losing. But if you like losing, we're going to have some disagreements because I find losing is not fun. I'm not a sore sport, but losing is not fun. Someone said he hired Bolton for his Middle East management. He hired a lot of people that no one on the Trump side agrees with, but you can't have that conversation. He hired 30 people that disagree with him. He hired a critical race theory military guy. It's a show. Oh my God, he wants to bomb everybody. Then why did you hire him? But don't bring that up to a Trump supporter because they'll talk your ear off for an hour about he doesn't know, he was betrayed, he did his best, Jared Kushner. I don't care. I don't even care. Pro, good or bad, I don't care. I'm focused on what we can do. I'm not an anti-solution person. It's like the solution is so easy. Like for me, I don't eat at a restaurant where they put a mask on. I know other Trump supporters aren't doing what I'm doing, or else it would have been over. If everyone did what I did a year ago, this would have ended a year ago. Don't eat at a restaurant that tries to put a mask on you to walk 6 blocks. Make them feel like it's a stupid thing because it is. Because those same people that will tell you this is brainwashing. If you want to wear a mask and you know the science, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to tell me that I have to wear a mask to walk 10 steps, to sit at a table, to take my mask off, this isn't about science. This isn't about physics. This isn't about math. This isn't about biology. This is a brainwashing tactic that has nothing to do with science to make people obedient. If you're willing to anti-scientifically tell somebody to wear a mask for 10 seconds to sit at an outdoor table just to take it off, what won't you do? You are now a weapon of the state. They will put the mask out of your hand and put a vaccine in your hand. And then they'll take the vaccine out of your hand. And if you join the military, they'll put a gun in your hand. And I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but in general, you'll do anything. If you can't think for yourself, they'll just replace what's in your hand, put something else and tell you to do it, and you'll do it. So my solution was not to blame Trump, was not to do this, was not to defend Trump. I just simply, everywhere I went, if you want me to wear a mask, I'm not eating at this restaurant, you're losing my service, and I would look the man in the eye and say, to be quite honest, my man, you're a coward. This is anti-scientific. You're hurting people, and you should be ashamed of yourself. If 80 million Trump supporters did that, this all would have ended within 3 weeks. But I know people don't want to do it because they sit, they wear their masks, they go to the table, and they tweet and say, Trump didn't mean to do it. Trump didn't mean to do Operation Warp Speed. He did his best. It's like, that's the problem. It's not Trump. It's the fact that Trump supporters have no chutzpah. It's all living vicariously through Trump. Trump should inspire you to be the strongest version of yourself you could be. not inspire you to make excuses for Moderna and Pfizer funding and lockdowns. Well, he did his best. It's like, if that's his best sucks. And if that's our best as a country, our best sucks. And if that's my best, then my best sucks. I'm not picking him out. The best we could do is the biggest wealth exchange in modern history and the biggest loss of civil liberties in modern history. That's the best a Republican can do, is the biggest loss of civil liberties. We lost so many civil liberties during the pandemic. Obama looked like, Ronald Reagan. Obama looked like George Washington compared to Trump in 2020. We lost more civil liberties in 2020 than we lost during the Obama administration. I'm sorry that happened. I'm not blaming Trump. That's just what happened. He was the leader, so clearly he's not. If that's the best we can do, our best sucks. Am I not supposed to say that? That's good. That's good, I guess. To me, that sucks. I say it sucks. It's like, if enough people just said it sucked, that's how you end it. It's that. Someone said the Obama years was a blast. Obamacare was trash, and I think it affected a lot of people negatively. But besides that, his tax policy sucks. Obamacare sucked. He didn't infringe on as many rights as Trump. I'm just saying, he didn't. I know that hurts people's feelings, but do I think Obama's better than Trump? No. Do I like Obama better than Trump? No. Did he infringe on my rights less than Trump? He did. I know that hurts people's feelings. They're ready to unfollow. That's just what happened. Under Obama, I could go on cruises. Under Obama, they didn't force a mask on my face. Under Obama, they didn't shut down, a restaurant. That happened under Trump. Is Obama great? No. Is Trump the worst? No. That's just what happened. I wish it didn't happen. Someone said anomalies, black-pilled, and depressed. That's another straw man. I'm not depressed. I have a good life. I'm happy. I'm not black-pilled. This is a false number. It's like, either Trump's going to save your world or you're depressed and you hate everything. I live a great life. I went to the ocean last week. I had a great time on 3rd of July. I worked my ass off on 4th of July. I'm not depressed. There aren't two options. Like, either Trump's going to save my whole life and he's going to save the Constitution, or I'm depressed and miserable. Why am I depressed? Because I admit that we lost more freedoms under Trump than Obama. Now I'm depressed and I'm black-pilled. I just said I'm fine. I've living my life. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but it's like, I live a very rewarding life. It could always be better. It could always be worse, but I've done some of the coolest things. I've had some of the biggest rock stars in the world and athletes reach out to me, show me love, invite me to places. I mean, for a guy on YouTube and Facebook, I live a pretty damn good life. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, am I depressed? No, I appreciate my life. I work my ass off. I'm not always happy. Yeah, I get sad some days. I have off days and days where the skies were a little more cloudy than I thought I would be, but am I depressed and black-pilled? No. Just because I said what you don't want me to say, now I'm a depressed, black-pilled guy? Come on. Someone said you're depressed about the cruise industry. I do like cruises, and it's bullshit what's happening with the cruise industry. I'm a go-getter, though. I know, I'm sorry. If someone said Obamacare almost killed me, Obamacare blows. I think Obamacare is trash. I think that hurt way more people than it helped, in my opinion. I've heard terrible stories, and I reported that years ago, and I will again sometime. But I'm the type of person, just to let you guys know, I felt overrated my whole life. My whole life, I felt like at sports, they always overlooked me when I was betting. Maybe I'm biased, but I always felt overrated. I always felt overlooked. I always felt underappreciated. I always felt undervalued. And I still do in certain ways when certain people offer me deals and I'm like, you're joking, right? But anyway, that fuels me. Okay. That's the type of person I am. That's why I'm so fiery. That's how I get stuff done. I don't complain. I don't cry all the time. I don't blame others. It's like, I didn't just blame Trump and sit on my couch. I went to my county board meeting and told them to their face they should be ashamed of themselves. I execute what I want to. They're not doing the news I want. I make the news. I don't just cry about the news. I make it. So I'm not just sitting here saying, like, I live the life that I say I live. When I go to restaurants and stuff, I'll say the same thing I'm saying here. I look at the person's eyes. I'm like, you're a coward, and you're hurting a lot of people with this policy. If more people stood up for themselves in their community, this would go away right now. But I'm one of the only ones. Like, I went to a restaurant 15 times, no problem, no mask. I sit outdoors. They're trying to make, after my 15th time being there, I spent $1,000 at this freaking overpriced restaurant that wasn't even that good anyway. Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to make me wear a mask. You think I'm going to sit down and wear a mask? Anomaly, just wear a mask. It's fine. No, F this guy. That's the type of person I am. I know I look nice. I am. But I'm like, you're going to make me wear a mask to walk 5 steps outdoors? Well, that's what my boss says. Get your boss. Well, I'm like, you're a coward, bro. And you're going to be stuck this way forever because you got no balls. And in general, you're hurting people. I was like, all this stuff, there's no science behind wearing my mask. How come I have to wear it today and not yesterday? You're a fraud. You're a loser. You know, it's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but in some ways I am. And if 100 people in my community did that, they wouldn't be allowed to treat people that way. They're hurting the elderly. They're hurting children because nobody gives a shit. And Trump's the leader of the free world. I don't care what's going on. He doesn't give a shit that much about the children or the lockdowns. He spent a lot more energy bragging about the vaccine than he ever did telling people that, you know, people shouldn't be forced injection. What did he say it once or twice and brag about it 40 times? He's not doing the most. I am doing the most. I mean, I'm not running for office, but it's not about even Trump or me. If enough people stood up for themselves in their community, this would have went away right away, you know? So that's just my energy. I don't mean to be mean to people who watch my thing, but it's like, sorry to whatever your name was on there. It's like, I'm not disagreeing. I said Trump couldn't stop critical race theory. And you said, well, it's not true. Trump passed it and Biden took it away. Well, that proves my point. Trump, it didn't work. Even if he won second term, eventually someone else will probably get into power and take. I'm not blaming him. It's a cultural thing. It's bigger than Trump. You get what you want. If our culture doesn't accept this fraudulence from either side, then we win. And we're close. We're not far away. We just need to get conservatives to actually stand up for what they believe in. And you would see a change in Trump. You would see a change in Biden. You would see a shift. You know, Biden, for example, we're not defunding the police. They're defunding the police. Why does Biden say that? Why does he say that? Because most Americans don't want to defund the police. Most Americans know that that's a stupid idea outside of the far left radicals. So Biden, why does Biden kowtow to Republicans on an issue that liberals don't agree with him on? Because most people in America don't want to defund the police. So Jen Psaki and Biden have to pretend like they're not defunding the police or they don't want to, and it's Republicans. That shows you the power of America. When enough Americans don't buy into the stupid shit that they're selling, they can't sell it. If they sell it, people leave their city. If they leave their city, they lose business. If they lose business, their policy shifts in a year. Oh, shit. We don't want to defend the police. Never mind. That's the power of the people. You move, the neighborhood gets shittier. Not only is LA getting shittier, no offense, but not only is it getting shittier because of crime and Gascon and all these stupid freaking left-wing policies, LA's getting shittier because a lot of good people left the city. I know I lived in LA for 7 years. There's a lot of great people there. Most of the people that I knew and I like and someone that you'd want to be their neighbor were smart enough to get the fuck out of there. Excuse my language. So you're losing millions of good people that you'd want to be your neighbor of every ethnicity. And who flocks to California at this point? I mean, you're not going to get the brightest people. No offense. I mean, some people go there for work and there are good people, millions of them in California. But when you lose a lot of good people in the community, you're losing it. That's power. You know, why are there, don't doubt yourself. It's not just about Trump or Biden. When enough people say no, it's over. Biden doesn't even support defunding the police because most Americans don't support that. Most Democrats who watch CNN and stuff, they're conservative. They just don't know it. They just hate Trump and they've been brainwashed by like Stephen Colbert and like Don Lemon. So we have power. There's nothing wrong with saying no. Like 30 years ago, no one was trying to infringe on the First Amendment. It wasn't popular for anyone. Now it's like, no one even noticed what's going on anymore because our world's so loopy. So you get what I'm saying? We have power. It's not a black pill. It's not the world's going to end. It's actually a beautiful thing. It's like, wow, that's how quickly we can make an impact is if enough people are like, nah, we like you, but we're not playing that. And then they're like, oh shit, the people don't want that anymore. Someone said they hate Trump for the wrong reasons. 1,000%. They made a mockery of the Trump administration. They lied about everything. They scrambled everyone's brains. So they're out here fighting about Trump ice cream scoops and this and that. We can't have a real conversation about anything. They successfully dismantled the left wing. And honestly, I think put everybody in the right wing into defense mode. I defended Trump for 3 years. Why? Did anyone pay me to do it? No. Did I do it for clout? No. It was the right thing to do. They were lying about Trump, and I don't like liars, and I like Trump. So I said, stop lying. And then year 4, he started turning into a socialist vaccine salesman, and that's not my thing. Maybe it's for other people. So I started disagreeing with it. But so many people got in the habit of defending Trump, it becomes very hard to not defend Trump. So now we're fighting over, is the lockdown xenophobic? And no one's having the conversation about should we even lock down in the first place? So that's how they get us. He's a xenophobe. No, he's not. He's a xenophobe. He locked down. He didn't lock down. He killed people. He did this. He won't do the vaccine. He did the vaccine. It's like, can you even have a conversation anymore? They're ruining everything. That's why I know it seems weird what I'm saying, but I'm not buying into any of their arguments anymore, whether it's pro-Trump, anti-Trump, this, that. It's like a giant proxy war. They're like, he said bleach and Clorox. Like, no, he didn't. And then he apologized. I was like, why are you apologizing? You didn't even say that. I had Trump's back sometimes more than Trump had his own back. He's talking about, I didn't mean to say that. I'm like, that's not what I don't even think you said that, bro. Don't apologize to these people. Politics is crazy, man. It's just like a big giant soap opera. It's like the Kardashians or like the Rich Housewives of OC or something. It's just like freaking stupid arguments and people getting crying and stuff. It's a pretty crazy arena, but it is entertaining, or at least it was. Someone said I'm not for vaccine salesmen either. Soap opera is the best example. I feel like that, and I try to figure out how to say things to not seem like mean or rude. I know it doesn't come off that way, but I feel like when I watch Trump now, I used to feel like, okay, he's building up. Like he was doing all this stuff and he was executing, and then I felt for a long time like he's building up for this big moment, And then that moment never came. It was a lockdown and it was the 6th event. And now I can't, I hate to say it, but I feel like I'm watching Tom and Jerry. And people get so mad when I say it, but I think it's funny. I just see like this game where Trump's always just like almost there. He's like, here I go. And everyone's like, whoa. And I'm over it. I don't hate him, but I'm just like, I look at it like a soap opera now where he's like, I just met with Zuckerberg and I'm about to get him, and I'm like I can't look at him the same way now. I don't hate him, but I'm just like, this just seems so stupid to me now. I bought into it for a while because it matched the actions. There were words, there were actions. There were words, there were actions. There were words. I'm going to try to build the wall. He starts trying to build the wall. He's got a wall. He goes and is like, look at my wall. And I'm like, look at his wall. He's got a wall. He said he got a wall. Is it done? Ann Coulter said it's not done. The wall's not done, but listen, Ann, you got to start somewhere, and he's got that. That's something. I can't say it's complete, but he's got a wall. So at a while, it was like Tom and Jerry, but he had the things. He's got the wall. He's bailing people out of jail with nonviolent drug offenses. He's defunding Syria. He's talking shit. He's yelling at people. I'm having a good time. I'm watching the soap opera, but there's shit going on. I'm like, he's got the wall. He's like, it needs to be see-through because we need to see through the wall. And I'm like, he needs to see through the wall. Listen to the guy. He needs a see-through wall. He's got to see through a wall. And then, but then things stop happening. And now it just seems like a whole thing where I'm just like, I don't know. At a certain point, it's like, here I go. I'm going to open the country up. We'll lock down more. Ooh, I don't know. It's funny, but I'm just over it personally. I wish I cared about it more, but I just don't. And COVID happened everywhere, man. I was talking to somebody who was in Poland, and it happened like Poland did a crazy lockdown. It's not a one-person operation or anything. I'm just saying, like, I just don't like it. I know I I get that people have to do stuff. I just don't think my job as like a citizen, I don't think your job, like I don't have to make excuses for why they're doing it. I just don't like it. Maybe I have too much of an attitude. April said, thanks for the facts. I enjoy listening to you anytime over MSN or Fox. God bless. Much love and prayers. Thank you, April. I don't know if I read that, but maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Someone said he's always been a great entertainer. That's funny as hell. He's really funny. Someone said goalposts continue to move. It's so obvious now where like it does feel like a whole show. You know, it's like a Truman Show where like they're all doing it. Boris Johnson, Doug Ford. It's like I don't know what's going on, but I guess for the better or worse, I just don't care. Like I don't know. It could this, it could be that, there could be pressure. I don't know. I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm just saying what I think. And that's the whole thing. I can't speak on why they're doing it or what. I don't really care. It's like if I can't go to a beach, I don't really give a shit why they're doing it. Am I supposed to care? He had to do it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I should just shut up and stand in my place. But I'm like, he had to do it to appease this person. I'm like, I don't know. I got way too big of an attitude to just sit in my freaking house on 4th of July, 2020 and act like I can't go to a beach. That sounds crazy. But it's all good. Someone said, anomaly, I have yet to hear you blame China for the Wuhan virus, but you constantly blame Trump to a solution for the problem. All right, Albert, I appreciate that comment because you called me a traitor earlier, but this is actually substance. You said, anomaly, I've yet to see you blame China for the Wuhan virus. You constantly blame Trump. So here's what I'll say. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, to some extent, that the virus came from Wuhan. If you watch my reporting early on, Albert, before Trump, before the Republican Party, I had a video that got 10 million views and got so far and wide that they deleted my video and demonetized my channel because I speculated early on. I said, here's what I know about man-made viruses. I can't tell you where this one came from. I'm not qualified to do that. And I did a whole deep diving report on the science of man-made viruses and how this one could possibly be that. I did that before Trump, and I got 10 million views on my Facebook page, and they deleted my video. So I was ahead of the curve on, could this be a man-made virus? Did it come from China? I think that's pretty obvious. Did it come from a wet market in Wuhan? I mean, I never personally believed that, but other people can believe that. Is China complicit not only in that, but is China complicit in deceiving the world into a lockdown with their clips of people dying on the streets and then opening up early? I don't agree with anything that China did, but here's the reason why I talk about Trump and America more than China. I'm not John Cena, okay? Unfortunately, I'm not that powerful. I'm not out here apologizing in Chinese. I don't even speak Chinese. But our government controls America, not China, America. So what was going on with the gain of function research in China? Why was America, funding a lab in Wuhan? Why did Trump do 15 days to slow the spread? Why did he look at a Bill Gates model behind him that was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? I don't remember which one it was. There's the IHME and then there's the Imperial model. Why did he extend lockdowns past Easter? Why did he say Georgia and Sweden were bad for opening? That's not China. So China did what China had to do. China fooled America. China opened up. China's economy is booming. And Trump's out here selling mRNA vaccines. So I'm not a fan of China, but our country needs self-accountability. China can fool us. China hates us. Russia doesn't like us. Most of the world doesn't like us. But it's up to our politicians and our job and our people to effectively counter that and actually do a policy here that counters China. So in my opinion, Trump did more damage to America than China did because he extended the lockdown. He pushed Operation Warp Speed. He signed the CARES Act. Xi Jinping didn't sign the CARES Act. Xi Jinping didn't sign the $2 trillion expansion of wealth. Trump did. Do I like China? No, I love America. I like Trump more than Xi Jinping, but to me, it's a lie to say, like, it's a cop-out from the right wing. Your own right-wing leaders did more damage to your country than China did. They didn't have to do all that, but they did. So that's the cop-out. All these Zionist Republicans say, China. Yeah, China's China. They're communist. They don't give a fuck about America, and they're willing to do whatever they can to get ahead of America. That's obvious. They don't give a shit about you. China doesn't give a crap about you, and Xi Jinping will never give a crap about you. They care about China. Why are our leaders doing so much damage to our country? I don't expect Xi Jinping to do anything for me. I did expect Trump to do something for me. So that's what I'm saying. The socialism and communism, we turned into China. We turned into a surveillance state, socialist, lockdown, vaccination. At a certain point, we need accountability in the right wing, but someone said my language, I apologize. All these Republicans are like, China. It's like, you did Operation Warp Speed. You did a lockdown. You passed an anti-First Amendment speech bill. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I don't agree with anything that China did, but people act like China gives a crap about you. China doesn't care about you. The right wing is supposed to care about you. They did more damage to our country than China did, not just with the virus, by submitting to this idea that this was the way to handle it. So that's my thing. Someone said China. How many Republicans do you know who say China, China, China? All of them? How many Republicans are willing to admit who signed the CARES Act? China? No, that was Trump and McConnell. Who locked the country down and extended it past Easter? Almost all the Republicans under Trump's watch. Who did Operation Warp Speed? Trump. And everybody. To me, and then China opened up and they're having pool parties. And we're not having pool parties. To me, I'm more upset with my own leaders. It's the same as in America. It's like in California, I'm not blaming Governor Cuomo for Gavin Newsom. It's Gavin Newsom's job and California's job. It's not Cuomo's job to do, like, we're American citizens, right? Like, I'm not blaming Putin. I'm not blaming Angela Merkel. Do I like Merkel? No, no offense. I don't give a crap about Angela Merkel. I don't give a crap about Boris Johnson. No offense. I just don't. I don't give a crap about Doug Ford. But imagine if your country locks you in your house like a prisoner and you blame Doug Ford or you blame like Angela Merkel. Your leaders are supposed to run your country. Xi Jinping doesn't run my country. Boris Johnson doesn't run my country. Trump was supposed to run the country. That's all I'm saying. I'm not defending China. I'm not a communist Chinese person. So there's nothing they can really do for me. They care about their people. I'm not Chinese. I'm not a communist. I'm not a Chinese citizen. So there's not really much I expect from them outside of, they control a lot of our market as far as we buy all their shit. China. How come Republicans, they're still buying all the Chinese stuff? They didn't counter China. They just yelled China. Aren't they supposed to counter China? They didn't counter China. They yelled China, bought products from China, couldn't figure out how to stop the distribution from China, couldn't figure out how to open up the country like China, couldn't sell normal vaccines instead of mRNA vaccines like China. So you get what I'm saying? Blaming China for what the American politicians did to us would be the same thing as blaming Macron for like Biden. It's like, why would I blame Macron? I don't like Macron. I don't like Angela Merkel, but I don't vote for them. They don't control my country. And if they do, there's something very wrong. Someone said they welcome China right to our door. They don't have a solution for China. They just say China. Guys, did we do any sort? And by the way, people say, what are you doing? I tried to start a website. It's small, but usaproductsonly.com to bring some buying back to America. But did they counter the Chinese dominance over our supplies market? Did they have any counter for that? Did they have any counter from countering Chinese pharmaceuticals? Maybe they did, and I'm not aware of it. Like, was there any sort of countering? Like, okay, we're going to scream China, but are we going to figure out a way to be independent from Chinese merchantry? Of course not. We're still buying. I said this a year ago, you better hope we're not in a real trade war with China, because China will kill us. We get so many products from China. We are dependent on China. So you better hope Trump's wrong and he's not China. Because if that's the case, you're losing this war. How are you going to fight? How are you going to fight a country that you're getting millions of products every week from? You're not doing shit. China's dominating the United States. China opened up earlier. China walked all over Trump and embarrassed him. But you think because you say the China virus and I don't say the word China that I'm somehow for them? You get what I'm saying? There's nothing they could do for me, but the Republicans have no plan for China. They just say the word China. Am I wrong? Someone said we put sanctions on China. Did we though? I don't know. We put sanctions on China? What kind of sanctions? I don't think. We'll see. I guess we had a trade deal with China, right? We had a trade war with China. We were supporting the Hong Kong protests against China, and then China locked the world down, and then China got the better end of us. I guess at some point we had sanctions on them. People don't want to hear this, but to me, it's like if there's a fight, we're jabbing China, and then China uppercutted America. China won that fight. I'm not saying it's over. I'm not admitting defeat, but it's like they're throwing these little jabs, Hong Kong protests, trade deals, and we're getting the better end of China. With the lockdown, China did more damage to America. That it's not even close. Like anything that Trump did against China before then has been wiped away from the lockdown. China won the battle against Trump. So instead of doing something, he just yells China. And they say China. Well, normally you won't say China. Do you work for the CCTV? China. You can say China all you want. Check the mail. Your products are made in China. Check your light. Your product is made in China. Check your computer. It's probably made in China. Everything's still made in China. Republicans have no solution for it. And I'm not saying it's easy, but someone said Biden took off the China tariffs. I think it's pretty obvious that Biden is more complicit with China than Trump is. All right, I'm going to read this real quick. Here, this is a Q guy. He's got a Q in his name. It says, Anomaly is a simp. He believes all the news he hears at face value. Trump is arresting these morons every day. If you think Biden is real, you lack common sense and pattern recognition. So this Q guy thinks that Trump is arresting these people every day. Don't worry, Anomaly. You're a simp. I know the truth. Trump is really the president and he's arresting everyone. Bro, that's the definition of a simp. You're coping so hard because what you thought would happen didn't happen. So you're secretly living in a fantasy world where Trump's arresting all your enemies and the military's in control when literally none of that's true. You are the definition of simp, bro. I'm glad people who don't like me are exposing it. They're like, Anomaly, you're a simp. You don't even realize Trump's arresting all the bad guys every day. You know when I heard that in 2017, 2018, 2019? Have fun, bro. Trust the plan. X22 reports got a big report for you tomorrow. Ooh, we're fighting China. Someone said we're against China while every mask you wear is made in China. Bro, this is what I said this. I appreciate you, Base Capone. I said this last April. I said, guys, Trump's yelling China and we have a mask mandate. And all the masks are made in China. If you go to an American airport and you don't have a mask, they give you a Chinese-made mask. You better hope that we're not at war with China because we're forced to submit to a mask that's literally made in China. Imagine if you're at war with Nazi Germany and they're forced to wear a mask made in the USA. You lose the war. America is so brainwashed. Biden is a joke. The left is a joke. And the right thinks that Trump is fighting China while we have a mask mandate at the time and he's wearing a mask on television. He starts wearing a mask. You better hope you're not fighting China because we're forced to subserviently wear a mask made in China while we're getting goods made from China. It's unbelievable that people think he says China. He's fighting China. Anomaly. How come you never mention them? Because I actually want to do something productive rather than just yell the word China and have a bunch of Trump supporters think that you're fighting China. You know, if this is 5D chess, China's playing 5D chess, America's playing toilet bowl cleanup, and people are so delusional and so defeated that they think that Trump is the shadow president. And they're like, Anomaly, you simp. Trump's arresting the bad guys every day. Says who? Says the pathical liar, controlled op guy who's telling you that martial law is good and the blackout is coming any day now and they're secret. Oh, it's all happening in the FEMA camps. Yeah, good luck, bro. Have fun for the next 5 years living in. At least watch Pokemon or something and admit it's fake. Don't distort reality and become a Ninja Turtle and tell yourself it's true. What are my thoughts on the Delta variant? All this language means nothing to me. I think they're going to use that to try to bring back lockdowns. So, Delta variant, Alpha variant, Beta variant. It's like, okay, people are going to get sick. And what are you going to do? Take away a restaurant and close my gym again? These people are gross. I don't subscribe to any of this nonsense. Yeah, there's a variant. You found it in a lab. Congrats. Okay, so now what? Jeff Bezos is going to make more money as you shut down the bar and pub I go to? Yeah, that's really going to solve coronavirus. The only way to fight coronavirus is to funnel money to the top elites and exploit the working class for trillions of dollars. The only way you could fight the coronavirus is if Uber Eats and Zoom get billions of dollars and take over society and your physical, events get closed down. Oh yeah, that's going to fight the Delta variant. F the Delta variant, excuse me. All right, we gotta get out of here. Was it 3:39? Why did this last long? Someone said the Q stuff is a quantum computer for track and trace. I don't know if it's a track and trace, but I mean the people think I'm joking. Like people come here and they really think this stuff. I feel bad. I'm not even gonna be mean. I feel literally bad. Like people are sitting there and they're like, Trump's arresting all my enemies. He's trusting the plan. We're fighting China. We're fighting China. Yeah, we're almost there. We're fighting the plan. They're getting arrested. Haha. Trump's arresting all the bad guys every day. It's like good things can happen. I mean, with the Ghislaine Maxwell case, maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't. I don't know. But it's like this idea that it's like, come on, guys. It's just so it's so annoying, but it's kind of funny. Someone said they're misguided. They didn't grow up with tech. I know, but I take offense to it. I don't like to blame certain generations. We love the boomers here, but I do take a little bit of offense. It's like, listen, if there were generations and decades that we dropped the ball, the least you could do is not pretend that like secretly someone's saving your world right now. That's the least you can do. It's like, listen, balls were dropped over the last 30 years by all of us. The least you could do is not get mad when someone actually cares and be like, oh, Anomaly, you don't know. You don't know what I know. I've been trusting the plan so hard. My leg fell asleep. I've been trusting the plan so hard. I trust the plan so hard that, I poop my pants 6 days a week. I wear diapers now, but they're deep state diapers to protect me from the deep state. So yeah, I might be 35 years old, but I'm shitting my pants on a daily basis because I trust the plan. And the only way to trust the plan, Q told me that if you poop your pants, the X-22 report will come true, and you just gotta, avoid the FEMA camps. If there's so much poop in your pants, they're not going to want to take you to the FEMA camps because there's so much poop in your pants that you smell bad. It's if you ever try to deal with somebody who pooped their pants, it's not ideal. So they usually just skip you for the gulags and go to the next guy who didn't poop their pants. So, we're out here pooping our pants, trusting the plan. And then you got like Fauci worshipers. They're like, Fauci told me to poop my pants. He's like, if you poop your pants, the Delta variant, that your poop is actually a repellent of the Delta variant. So if you poop your pants, it's like, I'm just kidding. I have to say that's parody because they'll be like, fact check, Anomalies. The conspiracy theorists said that Fauci said to poop your pants to avoid the Delta variant. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. I'm sorry. We'll get over it. Good night, Janice. The duty variant. The duty variant is very bad. All right, oh my gosh, it's already 9:43. I gotta finish this before tomorrow, but hopefully video out tomorrow morning. Someone said, is China still doing rectal exams for foreigners? I don't know. I mean, dude, China's just flexing so hard on us. They're like, we're open, we're having pool parties, and if you fly here, we're gonna do a rectum exam. Like, that's just not a win for America. We gotta reverse that. All right. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow. Sorry I lasted so long. Hopefully that wasn't bad. I never like to get in arguments with people who follow me. I don't mind a debate, but I feel bad when I'm like, Lisa's yelling at me and I'm like, come on, Lisa. Hopefully it's funny. I feel bad because I don't want some mom to be pissed off at me. Like, Anomaly singled me out. Some lady told me in my supporters only chat, she's like, I started crying. I was like, I'm not trying to make people cry. Hopefully I don't seem that mean, but I'm just like, what do you, she's like, I believe Q, Trump's the shadow president. I'm like, what are you doing, Nancy? You gotta like, she's like, and I was just going, I'm like, you gotta stop doing this, because it's not even like people are believing this stuff. They're using this stuff in certain events to then classify people as insane and use it as justification to come after everyone. So I'm like, you're not only going to go crazy. I'm just like, you're going to get other people in trouble. Like, what are you going to sit here for 7 years and act like Trump's saving the world behind secret strategies and closed doors and submarines? It's like, I thought I was being funny, but then she said she was like crying. And I was like, I'm not trying to, I thought this was funny and passionate, but someone said Linda and Albert was a hit tonight. I'm not mad at Linda or Albert. Hopefully they're not mad at me, but it's like, I don't know. One time someone said that people cried and I felt terrible. I was like, I do not want to make some mom cry. I felt horrible after. And this was at a supporters only thing, but we're having a good time. And she's like, I think that Trump's still the president. And I'm like, not like I think he should be president or he got cheated. Just like, it was like the Q stuff. I was just like, just come on, give me I can't take a break. I just want a break from people. Like it almost makes you crazy when they just keep, I'm like, just like, come on, let's tone it down a little bit, but it's all good. God bless you. Have a good one. And I'll be back soon.